Hello, everyone. Welcome to another episode of your favorite podcast, Loose Talk. We know you're anticipating a new episode this week, and we apologize, but the recording schedule has been tight. So this week, we're going into the archives to bring you one of our classic throwback episodes. On this episode, we have a special guest, Niyola, and this one is titled King of Boys. So sit back and enjoy.
Welcome to this episode of Loose Talk Podcast.
Yeah.
It's a special edition.
Special edition.
Every edition is a special edition, but this is a special edition.
You say special 3 times.
This is the first special edition.
Special rhymes with somebody that I don't want us to associate with. So let's just move on.
I was a hater, Sha.
Yeah,
Yes,
but you're
I
a
am.
hater too.
I was a hater, like I'm.
Yeah, well, you're born again.
I'm
now.
born again now. I'm good.
Yeah, I still hate a couple of people. But
Yeah, man. It's not
gotta keep it real. I still hate a couple of people. But I let it go. But I hate them. Yeah.
Fact.
Is there anybody that you see hanging off a cliff and you can save the person that you say, what? How many people?
I don't like 3 or 4. I just do like this.
I know a couple of people.
Okay.
Sha.
Oh, you would even trample on them.
What's that guy? Scar Lion King. Just,
Okay.
Bye bye.
You?
I know a couple of people. But due to my newfound faith,
All right. So
I wasn't going to.
don't bother ask this question. New found faith. Who is faith?
This is right.
Who is faith? Hashtag Key Connect is some wild thing.
Ah, you can always be on.
You can just say, we need clemency in this.
Yeah.
Hashtag
Hashtag-
Igbo name. There's nothing to say.
Connect is funny as fuck.
That man is a very righteous man.
He's a very
He just-
benevolent man.
Yeah,
He just
hashtag
put
Igbo name. Igbo name. Shout out to Key Connect. Anyways, we have a special guest in the building. OG herself. Her name is Niyola.
Hey, welcome.
Why are you laughing?
Like I said on OG, people will be surprised. OG?
Yeah, OG.
You mean
for
By
Twitter?
all rights.
Twitter, their timeline is different.
Yeah. They don't know shit.
They don't know shit.
That's the double entendre.
Okay, so-
Twitter, their
The
timeline
let me
is
just-
different.
Yeah.
Bars.
Bars.
You know, we say.
The new tiger.
You know, I used to rap.
Is it?
I tried to rap, but the Lord
Where?
showed me early on. My calling is not to be behind the microphone.
So what's your calling?
My calling is where I'm here now.
But you're still behind the microphone.
Yeah, but it's a different mic, We're not speaking
Okay.
bars.
Let me just quickly say something.
Yeah.
So I told a friend of mine that I was coming
Yeah.
here, and he was like, "Are you sure?"
Are you sure?
He was like, "Are you sure? Are you sure you want to go there?" I'm like, "What?"
Nice guy.
I don't understand.
He was like,
And very.
he was like, I don't know. You just have to be prepared. I'm like, prepared for what?
All we do here is inspire.
It's just talk.
Inspiring.
We're feminists here.
I know all we do here is just motivational, inspirational.
But you
discussions.
people, just shall be careful in this Lagos. That's all I have to say to you.
I think
We don't actually go anywhere.
Especially you.
We don't go anywhere. So they're not going to see us.
actually see his office, home office.
It's
home.
office
We
home.
actually don't
But
go anywhere.
between office and home, is your home next door?
No,
True.
that's true.
But when we enter, when we are in between, they can't
Enough
see catch
said.
us.
No, but Niyola, the way you said this thing right now, giving me acrimony vibes. Acrimony
I have to be
vibes.
checking my back now.
No, I'm just looking out for you, man.
Okay.
I'm just looking out for you. It's all love.
I don't think
Yeah.
let's keep it PC this year. You people don't like listening.
But the
No,
year
it's
that's
busy.
almost done, which year? which year are you talking about?
Start giving PC.
Which year are you talking about? 2018.
We're actually nice this year.
Yeah,
We're actually
Compared to last year.
Yeah, we've been nice
We've
this
been
year.
nice this
We've
year.
been nice guys this year. Last year was a bit rough.
Yeah, it was. We start blogging Naija posts.
Yeah.
And then,
Yeah, last year was a bit
Twitter
rough.
threads.
People ignorantly wrote on HuffPost about us.
Oh,
You know,
is
yeah.
it? But I feel like certain conversations are actually necessary because a lot of things that I don't know whether for lack of the right word, a lot of things in our industry.
Yeah.
It's like there's no information. A lot of people don't know a lot of things because
Exactly.
there is no conversation that has
Exactly.
been had, and it's because somebody is scared to say certain things so that the next person doesn't look at them as
Yeah.
crazy. But we need to actually have certain conversations
Yeah.
to put things in the light.
I totally agree. And these conversations don't even need to be controversial.
They
That's
don't
the
need
thing.
to
Like,
be.
it's just having these conversations. It's like how we had, K-Solo on the podcast, right?
Right.
And so many backstories he gave us that people
Yeah.
don't know. And we're really happy he gave us these backstories.
Because we don't have a culture in Nigeria of keeping records.
Yeah.
We don't.
True.
We don't have. If I wanted to research about certain artists in the shout out to Odunsi, he was telling me some stuff about artists from
Yeah.
like Tony Tetwila. And
Yeah, he
he's
does. He likes.
Oh,
he
I
likes
was
that
like,
era.
that is so because there's so much stories to
Yeah,
be
to-
told
yeah.
about how we got where we are today. A lot of people don't even know the first thing about how we got here today.
True.
About how we started getting MTV Base Awards, how we started getting our videos out, how we started even making the music that we make today. A lot of people don't know. So I think this is amazing.
Thank you very much.
you.
Thank you. And that's why we have you here. And when I mean OG, I mean it, right? OG because, you're a veteran in what you do. A lot of people don't know again because they don't know. They honestly
Don't know.
Right.
don't know. They honestly don't know. And, they try and do the Googles, nothing comes up. What comes up is 2 years ago, 3 years
Yeah.
ago, 4 years ago, 5 years ago,
Right.
as far back as even maybe 8 years ago.
Right.
But it's
It's deeper
It's-
than that.
It's still not. It's not.
It's
It's not
not-
detailed enough. It's not as far back.
trust
Yeah.
me, it isn't. It isn't. So how are you doing? That's the first thing, man. How are you?
I'm okay. Like I said, this is the first interview that I'm doing. Okay, I took a break, a very long break, or so it seems. And this is the first time I'm actually being interviewed in a year. This is the
Wow.
first
That's
time.
good.
I've said no to a lot of interviews and gigs in the last year, and this is the first time. I was like, yeah, I'm ready.
Yeah, let's do it. Let's do it.
I'm ready.
Yeah, no,
Yeah.
So why did you choose to go away though?
It was a lot of things. I was in a different space mentally, and I feel like every artist or every creative has to take time away and, uncover new discoveries about themselves that, you have to evolve. And I was in that phase where I just felt like, I don't think I'm really portraying what I want to portray as an artist. I don't think that if you went and listened to my songs, you would catch the slightest glimpse of who I am as Niyola. And that had always bothered me, but I just didn't know how to go about it because I didn't have as much control over a lot of things that was put out there. And I also was trying to figure out who I was as a person, as a creative. And so I needed to take that time away. And incidentally, a lot happened to me last year. I lost a very close friend of mine in April. And
Yeah, I saw that. Yeah.
yeah, and then my mom passed a couple months after, and like,
Sorry to
Tough.
hear that.
thank you.
Talk
And
to
it was,
someone.
it was as if everything that I'd been trying to work out for the past 2 years
Yeah.
suddenly came to me, and I was like, yeah, this is it. I need to get the hell out. I need to take a break. I need to take a minute, and I
Yeah.
need to figure out what I was doing. And there was so much pressure. People would say a lot of things like, "Where's the music? We need more music." Because I never stopped recording,
Yeah.
really, even
But,
while.
like, putting the music.
But I would listen. I'd be like, yeah, no, this is not what I feel right now. And I feel like we do music for different reasons. Like I'm not. I feel like I finally figured out why.
So why do you do music?
I think that music is one of the things that was given to me.
What's funny?
The way Osage is looking at me like he's expecting me to drop a bomb.
No. I'm very big fan, and we've never talked extensively. I know we chat and
Yeah.
stuff, but like, I'm a very, 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 very big fan of you
Aw.
and your music. I listened to
you.
your first album back to back, throughout school. Like,
wow.
I'm a big fan,
Thank you.
and followed your career. So, yeah.
So yeah, I feel like music was given to me because I actually do have something to say and I have something to do. I've always been bothered about, if you said you followed me, you would realize that at every point in time, I've always done one thing or the other for women. And this is not the whole I am feminist, whatever.
No, man,
no.
this is from the Technosoul.
Exactly.
Yeah,
I've
yeah,
always
yeah.
done
With
things.
Ashionye.
There was Ashionye, and then there was Unity 5 that Zil and I
Yeah.
and a couple of people were working on, because I feel like a lot of the problems that we face as a society stems from the fact that a lot of people don't know what their identity is.
Facts.
And as they say, if you empower a woman, you empower the whole society, because the woman is the mother, the woman is the wife, she's if you have male friends and female friends, you would tell that your female friends
different.
It's different. The woman is the one who eventually becomes your wife, and she's the one who eventually becomes the mother, and she's the one who's teaching you. It's
always in that cycle.
Exactly, and I feel that a lot of women don't know who they are, and that's why that's responsible for half the problems that we have in our society. And it's always bothered me that why is this? Why is this? Because I encounter people on individual basis, like from even when I was way younger, and I'd be like, no, why do you think like that? Why do you think like that? And so I realized that on my own, one way or another, I would always have people that I would just always like give advice to or mentor, knowingly or unknowingly. And a lot of people would say, you should do something about this. And I'd be like what? And then when an idea would come up, like maybe Tetmasol Girl Power, I'd be like, yeah, that's great. I want to be a part of it. Unity 5 would go to Bar Beach and pick women who were destitute and tell them, listen, there has to be something that has been deposited into you that can make you better than who you are. Now, if you feel like you want to sleep around to get by, that's great. I'm not judging you, but let it be that that's because you want to do it, not because you feel like there's no other way you can get by in life. I've always believed that there is a choice. It might not be the easiest one, but you always have a choice. And so back to the question that you asked me, I feel like the reason why I was given my gift is to help people and to empower people and to make the world a little bit more bearable. And that's the reason I've been given my gift. And if I'm not doing that in whatever way that I'm making my music, whether I'm talking about, let's go to the dance floor or whatever, you notice that I have always told my story from a woman's point of view, because there are people who would just listen to my music and be like, you don't know what your song did for me. And that's what I live for. Some other person, maybe their dream is to be, I want to be the one who has the biggest hits. For me, no, because I think that success is relative. For me, I want to be the person that people looked at and said, because of you, I didn't give up. Because of you, I knew I could go one step further. And that was important for me. That's why I had to take that step back and be like, okay, what am I really saying? What do I want to say to people? And I feel like I haven't even scratched the surface.
There's a lot of work to do.
I haven't even scratched.
You've done well, but like.
No, I don't think, like, sometimes I think that I'm like, what am I doing?
No, if you compare it to like other people, and just not even female artists, like everybody, like you said, anytime like you listen to your music, it's very opinionated. It's very strong. It's not surface.
Right.
It's not surface. And I think, and I don't know, and I'm asking you, has that been a challenge at any point in creating music where you're like, just keep it surface and keep it moving?
I have had. Okay, I always say to people, like, I'm very layered. Shout out to Kemi Adetiba. I remember when I started having these, I was like, I would go to the studio every day, but I'd be like, there's something missing. The songs were nice. That's when I was working on the album that I was supposed to release on EME. I'm like, it's nice, but there's just, I don't know. I feel like my breath is not in it. That's how I used to describe it. Like, you know how God created everybody and how he created Adam, and then he now gave it his breath. I'll be like, I feel like my breath is not in it yet, and that's why it's not ready. And that's how I felt for the longest time. I have tons of songs that I put to the side because I just felt like,
never to be released.
One day, maybe one day. One day, maybe I'll give them to other people to sing. But you see, like, it's important to me to own the space that I'm in mentally. And right now, I feel like when I did, the last song that I released was Where's the Love with Adekunle Gold. We used to talk, we had conversations about working together for the longest time. And people would say, oh my God, when they would see him comment on my post, I'd be like, you people should do a song. It would be great. Do a love song. I'm like, yeah. I said to him, we're not going to do a love song. It's going to be a love song, but it's not going to be that type of love song. And I said to him, you have a voice that is, and I'm going to speak in Yoruba now, you have a voice that is, what's it back you have a voice that is very piercing. You know, people that sing odes.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the kind of voice that you have. Yeah. And I said that if you and I get together and do a song that has a message, people will listen. And I said, let's do something like that. And that's how we came up with Where's the Love. And while we were recording, he was like, Niyola, this song. He kept saying, Niyola, this song. Everywhere.
Put it on my album.
Everywhere. Everywhere that I would play it, you know, people would be like, yeah, this song. And it was as soon as I released it that I heard that my mom was diagnosed, and we started running back and forth. And so I had to put that on pause. So that gave me even more peace. That song was like a stamp to tell me that, yeah, this is where you need to be. Yeah. And it was just, I was worried about everything that was going on. That was when the elections in America, Trump, then Nigeria and the whole Boko Haram, a whole lot of things were happening. I was just like, this world that we're living in, is it ever going to get better? You know, like I feel like it's never going to get better, but maybe we're here to make it a little bit more bearable. You do your part and then pass the baton to the next generation and keep going. And that's where that stemmed from. And I've had situations, in fact, from back in the day, God bless OJB, he's so rest in peace. When we would work, he would be like, your voice is too strong. He'd be like, your voice is too strong. Make it simple. Make it simple. And then I started to try to sound as plain as I could. Yeah. Fast forward to some years later, I started working with MI, and MI would be like, you have it in there, bring it out. I'd be like, what are you people doing? Why are you confusing me? So yeah, I've had different situations where I would have to be told to suppress who I was, and I would be confused, like, okay.
Why not?
But when I'm listening to the people that I listen to, my influences, like Rachel Farrell, when I listen to Mariah, like, she's allowed to be a lot of things depending on what song she's singing. And it's been quite the journey.
Why do you think it took such a long time for you to kind of like, realize yourself, like know yourself, what your purpose is and all that?
I think that you have to go through a process, and you have to learn what you have to learn. If you don't learn, you're not. It's like you write an examination. The fact that you write it doesn't mean you're going to get to the next class. If you don't pass that exam, you're going to stay in that spot and repeat and repeat and repeat until you pass the exam.
Quick one. Did anybody repeat it?
Well, in Nigerian uni, we do all the can to pass. Yeah.
Did you repeat or not?
No, I don't.
Technically.
But you moved to another school.
We moved to another
school. From science to arts, so I had to go.
Okay. Yeah. I mean, primary school, but I moved from one school to I moved from Learning Field to Maryland.
But straight up.
So you live in Satellite Town?
Yeah. For a minute.
Interesting.
Yeah, for a minute.
Still in Satellite Town.
Yeah, I lived there in '94.
Oh, wow. Damn.
Yeah.
Really?
Close B. Yeah, I can't remember. It's a long time.
Wow.
Shout out to Satellite Town. Sounds so tan.
That place is far.
It's far from where?
It's not far.
I don't like traveling. I don't like going out from
He hasn't left Lagos, by the way.
So when you tell me I have to go to Festac, I'm like, why are you?
Where do you live?
Ogba.
Okay.
That's too far.
That's not traveling.
Yeah, but it's after Ikeja. Yeah. I only come here because they pay me.
Fair enough. I want to ask you a question. Funny question. Talking about people not knowing their history. How many times do people say, Niyola?
If I had to get paid for every time that has happened, I'd be rich. I'd be rich by now. And they'd be like, oh my, that your new song is really dope.
Maradona.
I'd be like, which one? They'd be like, Maradona. I'll be like,
well.
yeah, that's not me though.
I was not supposed to me with Maradona.
I'd be like, that's not me though.
Does it make you mad?
Hell no.
Oh, okay.
Why would it make me mad?
No, I just asked.
No.
Other people take it, that why do you think I'm that person? Like
I mean, the names are kind of similar, so I get it.
The pronunciation.
Yeah.
Of
Some people are not Yoruba.
But what the one that pisses me off is when people call me Niyola. I'm like,
because it looks like a very Yoruba.
Yeah.
They'd be like, no, and then I'd be like, no. Okay, like I went to my friend last week, and you know how you call at the gate and they'll let you in. So she left my name at the gate. And I got there, I said Niyola. The guy was like, Niyola or Niyola. I'm like,
I know my.
is it not my own name again?
Niyola.
They be like Niyola. I'm like,
Sure, you know.
what's Niyola?
All right, so let's go back to. We like to time travel here.
It's okay.
We're big fans of time traveling. So let's go back to the very beginning. By the way, I know your sister.
You said that.
Yeah, your elder sister. So she used to do some recording. You know, thinking about it now, I was talking to somebody, and she might have been recording a podcast. Then,
Is it?
And I didn't know it was a podcast. But she used to do audio recordings, and I was a recording engineer, so I used to take her vocals. And me and my guy, I worked as a recording engineer. I used to get 300 naira every day. At Tycoon's place. Shout out to Tycoon is hip hop. So he used to take vocals, or I'll take the vocals. She used to drive like a space bus.
Yes.
Yeah. So we used to talk about you. Once in a while, like the music, and just say, hey man, I'm a big fan, blah blah blah.
I'll tell her.
Small world. How's she doing?
She's fine. She's in Canada now.
Wow, she escaped this
Lucky
country.
her.
She escaped this country.
She had to.
She had to. I mean, I advise everybody to.
Really?
Yeah.
So why are you still here?
Well, I'm planning. I'm planning.
I'm looking for someone who has a wife who has a green card.
But I thought you didn't like traveling.
You know, for that I'll travel. But that's my home, so I don't. That's not traveling for me.
Nigga said that's my home.
America,
I'm done.
Canada.
I'm dead.
I'm fine.
We love
manage.
Nigeria.
We love Nigeria.
We love Nigeria.
We love Nigeria, but anybody who has the chance to escape should do that.
I love Nigeria. Like in a
So,
long distance relationship.
back to when it started with you.
Yes.
Yeah.
Let's start from the very beginning.
Very beginning.
When did you first hear of Niyola? Let's go there first before we go to the beginning.
I can't really remember when,
Mm-hmm.
but it's been like a very, very long time.
Don't make me now sound like ancient of days.
I can't really remember when. You know, I used to ask you now, I used to, was she the one I had with Fizz and Rugged? You know, I used to ask you this question a lot, then that was the period.
Shout out to Kalini.
Yeah, that's
Oh
time.
my
Like,
God.
that was the period I started hearing about.
She hates when I talk about it, by the way. She hates when I talk about
that
Rugged
song.
Man.
Oh, the
Yeah,
Rugged
because
Man
we went to
Fizz.
do that
That
double
was
album.
the
They went to
double
do
album.
That double-
that
yeah.
double album.
And it wasn't a
Please,
bad
Rugged
single
Man,
at all.
we'll never forgive you for that.
Never. There was an album out now.
Yeah, there was an album.
was, yeah.
They
There
dropped
There was
the
a single. The single was banging too, man.
I don't know.
It
I think
was.
I asked Rugged when he was here the last time. I can't remember what he said, but
Yeah, I
they
remember.
never
you
got
asked
to
him.
do it.
Yeah.
Imagine.
Shame.
Shame.
And you know, this was no.
The cusp of things.
Yeah. And that was the good old days
Yeah.
when music wasn't done for money, which of
Yeah.
course, I mean, you know.
There was
But
no
like
money in the game
it was
now.
passion filled.
Yeah.
Anyways, okay, so when did you first discover Niyola?
You know, as a big LD head,
Yeah.
LD fan.
Yeah.
So I was always trying to catch every information about tribesmen, the
Yeah.
tribe, and I just heard one whisper that there's a chick called Niyola.
Yeah.
I said, okay, then I listened to her song, I think on Cool FM, I think it was Dan Foster that played it.
Yeah.
And that was
yeah.
then.
Which one? With pipe?
No.
There
no.
was
Bring it on. What's the name of
What's the
that?
chorus? What's the
Uh,
chorus?
which one? Was it Bring It On? Either
No.
February, maybe.
Thank you,
Either
yeah.
February.
That's one of my favorites.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Then that was when I knew about Niyola.
Okay, great. So I knew about Niyola the wrong way, but I only
Oh,
figured
God.
out earlier this year, right? So on the intro of the Tribes Oya, there's some vocals there, right? It's a party, come join me. And I thought it was Niyola. Maybe she had a cold that day because it doesn't sound like you on a regular. So I just hit, you know what? I was listening to the album recently, like some months back, and I'm always so happy because LD, yeah, like anytime I have
It's a
something, I just
WhatsApp,
hit him
yeah,
up
it's
on
a
WhatsApp,
WhatsApp.
like, hey, and he's always available to say this,
yeah.
that, you know. And I'm like, who is on this? Well, I need to know because that's when I knew you. Like, I think I read about you in Hip Hop World magazine or something. I kind of just traced you, and I thought that was
That
it,
was
right?
yeah.
But this was after like Ewaba Mijo, blah blah blah. So I thought that was you, and he was like, no, that's this person. I can't remember who he said.
I think it was Winifred or
And,
something. I don't
and
know.
it just fucked my mind up. And I'm like, for years, I actually thought,
But it was Niyola.
yeah.
It wasn't.
So I think the first time I heard your vocals then was on, it had to be Adara. No,
it
not
wasn't
Adara.
Adara.
It had to be, there's a record.
The one before.
What's the record?
Which
Is it Rock the Mic?
Yes, thank
Yeah.
you. Rock the mic. Here we are, we rock the mic.
Yeah.
And that's when, so the big picture,
Yeah,
remember
yeah,
the album?
yeah.
And that's when I started to really discover, like, oh, this is this person. I hadn't heard Bring It On. Interestingly, I heard the record with Pipe.
Okay.
Masheke.
Mar-
Maroke.
What's the guy right here?
I
I heard that one later. I heard that one later.
I wish you had like a deck where we could just play
No.
music. But SoundCloud has even warned us.
It's like,
No.
Calm
play
the
too
fuck
much-
down.
too much
Yeah, we
music.
play
Really?
too much music.
Oh.
And we don't have the rights, the copyrights to this music.
Oh.
And you know,
That
someone
sucks.
files, they might take down there. So
Yeah.
Drake taught us a lesson. So,
It's good.
so I'm just on my best behavior. But like that was one of the records, you know, I first heard. And I think it was on the West Side Music compilation album.
Yeah.
So I think I still have the album at home, by the way. I have the Tet Mosol album at home.
Oh my god.
Yeah, I all those things. So that's when I now heard of you. Then OJB production, you know, Paul play here,
Yeah.
some freestyle, make some noise here.
Yeah.
Some
And
noise.
okay, this was the person. Then, Yana, what about me, Jonah?
Well, I don't
It's
know.
not
There are
your
two.
vocals.
No, there are two versions
Yeah.
because I had done a version, and
Sasha's
I
and
think
What
it
About Me,
cracked.
by the
way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think it crashed. LD's system had crashed, and so I think there
Shout
were
out
two
to
versions
the
out.
Twos back then.
Yeah, so they had somebody else do it, and that was Winifred. So I don't know which one it was. That was
Wait, are you
released.
trying to tell me I can do it like
My home girl. Yeah, I did. I
That's your
did.
voice, you know?
No, I don't know which one. That's the thing. There's like two versions. So
I'm going to play it here.
no, the one that was officially released
Yeah.
was with Winifred. Was with
The
Winifred.
one with the
Was-
video was with who?
I don't even know. I don't know the
Sounds
details.
like your voice.
But I did record.
Version of that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
originally. Yeah. I did.
Fantastic. So how did you get in the whole space?
By accident.
Hmm.
I was I was just a girl who liked to. I was just obsessed with music, and I never liked to watch TV. The only things that I liked to watch were Asian films because of the martial arts, and Indian films because of the music and the performances. You know,
Yeah.
but
But TV was popping in the 90s.
TV was popping, but I didn't really like TV
Yeah.
because it was just too. It would take too much of my time.
Yeah.
So
Hello, social media.
I know, like it would take too much of my time. I'm like, I don't have time for this. I had my Walkman and I was good. And I was also in boarding school, so we didn't even have.
Boarding school.
I went to quite a number of schools. I went to Queen's School, Ibadan, and I went to HGS, Abeokuta Girls Grammar School.
That's the school
And-
my mother went to.
Is it?
Interesting. You used to
And
do
then
the
I went to
girls'
St.
reunion thing.
Saviour's. I mean, not me. Yeah, they do, but I've not really been a part of it because I did graduate from there. So,
Yeah.
like,
Okay, I get it.
so.
Which primary school did you attend?
I went to Auntie Yemi Nursery Primary School.
Auntie Emi.
Yeah.
You know, I always thought those Auntie Emi and Auntie Ayos never existed and it was a joke. Until someone asked me, no, I went there.
I actually went to Auntie Yemi.
I'm like, for real?
Yeah.
So yeah.
Yeah. So I was just doing my thing, and then my sister had told me about some competition that she heard about, Circle of Stars.
But were you listening to music at this time?
What? I lived
junkie.
on music. I lived on music because my brothers were like music heads as well.
Yeah.
I would listen to anything. I'd listen to Ella Fitzgerald. I would listen to Michael Jackson. I'd listen to Rachel Farrell, Will Downing, Celine Dion, Mariah, Whitney. I'd listen to jazz. I'd listen to country music because of my dad. I would listen to all sorts of music, even Good Women Choir,
Yeah.
because that's what my mom
Yeah.
liked. You know, stuff like that my mom liked to play. And I actually used to think that, especially with Mariah, that angels used to physically write. Yeah, I didn't think it was humanly possible to compose music in that manner, for it to be that melodious. I used to be like, I literally did think that angels used to write songs.
Yeah.
But I just didn't know how. So how do they give it to human beings to eventually sing it? You know, I feel like, how did they get, you know,
You're
I'll be
waiting for the
like,
ministry.
how? And you know how in the Bible they talk about
Another
how,
level of grace.
Oh, shit.
how they talk about God, you know, how you know, they used to sing, the angels used to sing to God. I was
Yeah.
like, how do you get angels to give you music? I want
You want a song?
I want a song.
You didn't meet one Yoruba woman at that time. There's somewhere I'll take you to.
Oh, hell no.
Tapping around.
Man,
Why?
oh, she
You know
grew
there
up-
are
she
more-
grew up
I'm
in
going
Lagos,
to
though.
become a Yoruba,
She grew up in Lagos.
one of those Yoruba women
Right.
one day. So Be careful.
Yeah.
I'm a Yoruba
She doesn't
woman.
get to see anything.
You're not roping. You're not getting yourself out of this one.
Oh,
Just-
shit.
Yeah, and they're not editing it.
Where are you from, please?
Where are you from?
I'm a Ghanaian.
You can actually pass for it.
No, he's not black enough.
He's from
I'm
Ugeli
from
North.
Delta State.
It's one Delta.
He's from Ugeli North. Delta.
I'm not from Ugeli. You're like that.
From Ugeli North. Why are you running from your tribe?
Yeah, for
Ugeli forever.
Worry. I can't even say it right. Yeah. So I think my dad had noticed that I liked to sing.
Yeah.
And he called me one day and gave me like a higher grade notebook and told me to compose choruses for the morning devotion.
Shout out to your dad.
Shout out to my dad.
Yeah.
And he would like
Something
just anything that comes to your head, and that's how I started writing. And he would make me lead the chorus at devotion. And then there was something.
Just talk about devotion, man. At times.
Morning devotion.
You be sleeping. I couldn't sleep, man, because I had to be the one to sing.
That's the most traumatic period of the day.
Every Saturday.
Yeah.
Did they ever wake you up at 6 a.m.?
My mom is
That was earlier than that. No.
But this is,
5:30 because everybody had to now get ready and
why was that? The cardi, when we were told what cardi breakfast television.
breakfast television on
That's when I
Saturday.
start praying. Why? Why this church? We are going to church the next day. Too much prayer is no good now.
God. Anyways.
Yeah, and that's basically how I started writing. And then what happened? Okay, no, I did a competition.
Yeah.
It wasn't a competition. It was like a thing where my church, they had this convention and they were like,
What church was that? Sorry.
Worldwide Church of God. And my dad would tell me, so when you want to go high, you need to breathe in, and they were prepping me for this performance.
That's nice.
Yeah, and I performed. It was at
That
the
is a G, man.
trade.
Yeah,
My dad, it was actually my dad. And my mom got me this no, not yet. Then I performed at the convention. We had a lot of people from all over the world. It was really big at the trade fair. Remember the trade fair center? And as I was singing, people were crying.
Wow.
That's when I was 9. I was 8 going on 9. And I was like, hold on, what's going on here? That's when I knew that I could sing. Because I didn't know. That's when I knew that I could sing.
That's when you knew you had been touched by an angel.
Yeah. Yes, that's when I knew that I could sing.
And it kind of started from there.
And it started from there. So I would always, when I would do my chores, I would always sing along, like the songs that I heard. Because I've never had any formal training for music. That was how I trained myself. I would just sing along, and that was it.
Pure talent.
Yeah.
And so you grew from there.
How did you go into
secondary school.
recording?
Recording. Okay, yeah. So I did the Circle of Stars, and I wound up first runner-up, and from there.
What's Circle of Stars?
It was a competition done by Gold Mine, the Little Saints. Okay, so I volunteered to work at the Little Saints Orphanage when I was like 14 or 15.
Why?
I just wanted to help. I just wanted to help. Like, these kids have no parents, they're orphans, and I just thought that I could do something to make them, feel better about life. So I would go there, and then I would volunteer to teach them how to sing and teach them how to dance. And this was after Circle of Stars. And from there, Sound Sultan and FaZe.
Yeah.
FaZe and I were super close. I think I met FaZe at the competition, Amen Starlets, in 2000.
Wait, Amen Awards.
Amen Awards. They
Yeah.
had a Starlet competition.
Wow.
And then I did the competition. I was very young. And I was like the youngest. There was me, there was a Bigiano,
Yeah.
there was MC Fire. There were a whole lot of people, and I was first runner-up.
Wow.
So it was MC Fire that won.
Shout out to MC Fire.
MC Fire. Do you know MC Fire?
No, I'm just saying shout out to
Nah,
him.
but it's not an answer.
So he won, and then that's where
he got consumed. He burnt out.
was-
He burnt out.
he was burnt out. God forgive you. That's how I started, and I met FaZe, and FaZe and I got really close.
When you met FaZe, what was he doing? Was he
FaZe was Plantation Boys. That was Plantation Boys then.
Boys then?
Popping like real time. Exactly. They were popping at the time. Sound Sultan was popping at the time. Baba D was popping at the time.
Sound Sultan has a hand in almost everybody's common story.
Almost everybody.
Story.
Yeah, there's a sound
connection to Sound Sultan.
And I started backing up for Sound Sultan and Baba D. Remember? Government tell that you found it. Baba D, that's what you demand.
I've not heard that song for like years until you sang it.
No, so I had performed that song with him at the awards, the Amen Awards.
Wow.
And that's where I just found myself
in the middle
of all these stars, these people that I used to watch on TV. And then FaZe was like, oh, they wanted me to do a song on the Plantation Boys album. I was like, me? I think I just graduated from high school. I was like, I don't know. And then I started going to Festac, to go into the Plantation Villa.
Headquarters.
And I started going to the studio.
So you were in that
Nelson Brown.
You know the music boom in Festac?
Yeah, I was.
Wow.
But I was
Nelson Brown.
Brown. Is it Nelson? Yeah, Nelson Brown.
Nelson Brown.
And I did the song with FaZe. That was around the time that Plantation Boys split. I think it was a year after that Plantation Boys split. So that song, All My Days, ended up being FaZe's song. Yeah.
FaZe's album.
Yeah. So that's where I knew two FaZe, Blackface, FaZe, Sultan, all of them from. And then that's also where Paul Play found me, because Paul Play was a judge on the Starlets competition that I'd done.
Shout out to Paul Play.
Shout out to Paul Play. These people, I was like their baby. They'd be like, this little girl, she's so talented. Let's do something. I'd be like, no, I'm not ready, because I didn't understand how it worked. And I was just like, what are you guys talking about? Come and do music. What does that mean? You know?
They were like in a rush. Let's just get this.
Yeah. And then through FaZe, I met Two Shots. And Two Shots used to come to Sultan's house when we would have rehearsals. I used to go to perform at the Shrine with Sultan. I used to perform at the Shrine, and
Wacko.
yes, for South Sultan. And then Two Shots introduced me to LD.
Wow.
I went for Oya video shoots.
Yeah.
And that was
the first time you met LD?
That was the first time I met LD.
Wow. Who just said don't blend already?
That was the first time I met LD. No, that wasn't the first time I met LD. That was the first time I met Freestyle.
Okay, that was the first time.
So I met LD, and then LD and I started talking about working on music. He was like, you should join the tribe. I'm like, yeah, no. Like, you guys are all rappers. Like, what am I? He said, you'd be the only female singer. You'd be the only singer. I'm like, cool. And so I joined the tribe for a very short time. And I did Rock the Mic and a couple other songs with them. And what even happened? Yeah. And then I left the tribe because there was some controversy then. You know,
it was about to break up.
It was about to break up, so I had to leave.
It was already rising between LD and Free.
Yeah. It wasn't LD and Free, to be honest, and I really...
We actually don't know this.
I really don't want to get into it.
Yeah.
I really don't want to get into it, but, that's none of my business. But, yeah, the group was about to split.
Yeah. I want to ask you, why was the group about...
Am I a tribesman member?
Am
I a tribesman member?
I don't need to go into details, but like, what was it?
I don't know. I think there was
clashing.
It was definitely egos clashing, and I feel like it was definitely egos clashing. There were a lot of stories. Some people say it was because of me that this split. I mean, how?
Yeah.
Did
you pick sides?
I didn't pick no sides.
It looked like you picked sides.
I didn't pick sides.
It looked like you picked
sides. No, I didn't pick sides.
Do you know that it looked like you picked sides?
I really don't care how it looked, but I didn't pick sides. I really don't care how it looked, but I didn't pick sides. Okay. Freestyle and I were good friends. I'm always the type of person who just naturally gravitates towards the person who is not the most obvious. Yeah. And that's who he was, and we just bonded because he's very intelligent. I thought he was very intelligent.
He is very.
Yeah, and we just connected on some level. LD is very, very intelligent too, and LD and I were really, really close. Everybody, Sasha, everybody. But there were just some things that I thought even generally were just, over the top. everybody was young and trying to figure this thing out. So they were stupid. They were, yeah. Everybody was just trying to figure stuff out. So a lot of egos clashed, and that's what I think that was. It wasn't necessarily a freestyle LD thing. It was a whole lot of things.
Yeah.
It just so happened that was the avenue that
Obviously, just,
you know.
To
reached
me,
the tipping
in
point.
retrospect, it looked like a Big Bang Theory. That's how it looked like to me. How? Because you have these three guys, LD freestyle, and don't forget KB the detonator.
Yeah.
Doing some amazing things,
Yeah.
right? And they're doing so much amazing things. It has to spread.
Right.
And they bring these other guys on board and give like Sid, you know, Bell,
Too
you know,
short.
Too Short, Blaze, Sasha, and
Double O.
they kind of spread it, and everybody now is involved, and it becomes something even bigger. And that can't be together for long.
Exactly.
Because it's too much talent.
The talent was
Exactly.
too much.
You know how it's too much. Timmy, don't
Yeah.
forget Timmy Black one. Like it's too much.
Even Blaze.
You know,
Yeah,
and it's too much, and it has to explode.
Yeah, and it
if
was
that
easy for that to
explosion-
happen. It was easy for that to
I
happen
have a
because
theory.
freestyle is an interesting. He's a very misunderstood and things in a different way. But not everybody would understand that for you. Like your difference and your reasoning is different.
Yeah.
And like I said, everybody was young, and didn't really know how to contain their depths and how
Yeah.
and how
Communicating.
yeah,
and
so I think that's really what it was. I don't think anybody, not even LD or KB or freestyle, meant to disrupt, anything. It just so happened.
Tribesmen were
Hot.
It was fire.
It was.
fire.
They
So
were
it was
doing.
Swat Root
Now
and
them-
Hot,
Yeah,
Mode 9
No.
LD.
What?
Sorry, Mode 9 Terry OD. I'm sorry.
Terry the Rap Man.
Brooklyn.
Brooklyn, 6 foot
Yeah.
plus,
Yeah, yeah.
and they were
6
doing it.
foot.
Shout out to Solo D.
Yeah.
And here in the south,
Those
Tribes.
it was
tribesmen.
tribesmen, man. And it was the tribe.
Now that make me go Unilag, man. And I thought I'd meet all of them there, but alas.
They had
You don't want them
left.
to graduate.
Yeah, I didn't know right
My
there.
friends still saw freestyle in school, though. I
Yeah,
think
me and Freestyle actually started diploma together. He was in geography, I was in mass comm. So I like,
yeah.
yeah, Sasha was still around, so hey,
Yeah.
that's good.
And I think that explosion had to happen. If that explosion didn't happen, I have a theory that explosion led to why Storm Records is kind of successful to today.
Yeah, you could say that.
I'll put it out there because it now happened that Sasha signed with Storm,
Yeah.
right? Too Short eventually went and did one album there. LD also did
Yeah.
his comeback album with
Yeah.
Storm,
Storm,
had the distribution deal and all that. And Sasha's debut album was the that album.
Sasha
That
was-
album
For
when you talk
Storm,
about-
it
when you
was
talk
Storm
about
albums.
top 15, top 12 A&R albums. That
Hip hop
album.
What
albums.
album?
And that album was the test base for
Let's
Nito
see.
C's album.
Yeah.
Because it was VC Perez, it was TY Mix, it was Sasha.
Damn.
They all collaborated,
collaborated,
and
yeah.
that gave birth. After that album, they did Nito's album, and
Yeah.
that gave birth to the Nito album, which is like one of the
Yeah.
best rap albums we've
Yeah.
ever
Yeah,
witnessed.
in the Silicon
Yeah.
It's crazy how all those things just
Yeah.
They had to happen.
So how did you meet Sasha?
I met
I mean, how
Sasha.
were these sessions like?
They were really dope. We would meet every Sunday and just vibe
Where?
at LD's place. LD had a place at Ikololu in Surulere
Yeah.
where we'd always converge and
So
record.
this is when the movement of the Festac sound
Was
was
going
now
to
moving
Surulere.
to
Yeah, yeah.
Did you see that happen?
I saw that happen.
Like, it was going from that old, I want to say old, like it was old, that sound of Konto, very R&B-ish, into like new sounds where people were
OJB.
doing like Fruity Loops.
It was OJB that
Yeah,
spearheaded
Silver Point.
everything.
Shit.
Silver Point.
One
I
person.
saw everything. Like I saw it start. You talk about Rugged Man. Even Wiz, like Wiz used to come to the studio back then. Simeon. There were
Same here.
loads of people who started. Even when Banky first came to Nigeria, it was
coming there,
OJB.
yeah.
He was the go-to person. Remember Two Face's first album was
Jigga,
OJB.
yeah.
you know,
Everything
and
produced written.
that's where everybody would just go to. There would literally be a lot of people outside just hanging
With the
outside that Baja studio, just be there chilling. And those were they were amazing times because it was genuine. It was very genuine. And the next person was willing to help this person because they know that together we need to forge something that could be what it is now in the future. And it hurts me to feel like a lot of that is lost now because a lot of people don't even know their history or know how this thing started. Know that people like Sasha were the first people to ever receive an MTV Base Awards and how, you know, back in the day, them tribesmen were doing shows in London through Ayashunaya. And this thing, and then now any little thing, like now you're going on social media and be like, we do this, like, mate, chill. You know, like, you know, like, chill. And that's great. I'm not saying don't celebrate, but it would be great if people knew the history of the Nigerian entertainment. Not to even mention the ones that were way before us. Not to even mention.
I always try, you know, I mean, we always try to start from when things kind of popped off, which is like 98, 99.
Tony Tetwila,
the Goli, the props, or really like that generation. Because I think that the microcre generation is even more documented than
because they had the BMI. Yeah, they had the foreign labels here. Yeah. You know, my brother used to work.
Better
what?
Yeah, better. Yeah.
You know, microcre's music is on Apple Music. I mean,
what are you saying?
If you search for the album covers,
what are you saying?
I can tell you. You know this rapper called Empress. Do you remember Empress?
Nope.
Where's Queen Change?
Yeah,
Queen Pen.
You know, like where are these people? Like,
oh my God! You guys old.
I can't find that video on YouTube
on the internet.
It's not
nowhere.
So
it's
sad.
So
that 90s before 98 disappeared.
The only people that will have it are the TV stations, the MITVs, the
And Bafemi Lassa will have it too. Because he shot a lot of those.
Even Ezra.
Even
He shot a lot of those back then.
I mean, I need to go and buy all that shit. Just collect it. You have to.
Yeah, you have to.
Because that's
I've been collecting these albums, but see, you know, I wake up at times and I just start panicking. I have not done enough. That I have not collected enough. I don't know.
There's always a layer of Nigerian music you find out every day. You're like,
every fucking day.
See,
you just
bro, there is nowhere on the internet where you can listen to Tina Ondiwe's music.
No way.
It was in Kem. It's not.
No, it's there. Listen to it now.
Which one?
I don't know why. I don't know.
I think that's the only record.
I love that song.
There are two. The day I found it, I went mad. Asiko Lola. Asiko. Wait, forget.
Forget. You know, so like all this music is actually missing, and I panic every time. Like, I can't find this thing. Like, where can I find it? Like, who can I meet? Where's Queen Change? She's somewhere
in this world.
Do you understand? With mad stories to tell us.
She's a Yankee.
Even if she's a Yankee.
You know, so that's why we have you on podcast.
Fam, you can't even find Allen Avenue on YouTube.
No way.
No, you can't.
No way.
You can't.
I've searched. You can't find Allen Avenue on
Allen
YouTube.
Avenue.
Allen Avenue.
Allen what? You
can't find it on YouTube.
A lot of people listening and they're saying like, what the fuck? But a lot of people listening are like, yes. Because the fan base is split into
This is great. This is crazy. There's no Allen Avenue on YouTube.
No.
Allen Avenue on YouTube. I said
I can call records on records.
Many records.
And that was
lost.
And that with MC period is also like a pop-off period.
I remember
that was the peak where.
So before the 98, that was the era that
she popped off.
The momentum wasn't strong enough to make it like big.
So I mean that's where we are, and you know we're trying now to recorrect all those things. We're trying to rewrite history not even write history, add to history, or to really make these stories known. So many stories you've told us now that can be built into separate stories. These people can add context and add. Someone can do a research and add your interview with K Solo's interview, Blackface's interview, and corroborate a story that was a rumor or that wasn't, that didn't have any proof
or to trace a come up. To trace somebody's
come up, exactly. Like you talked about San Sultan, someone else talked about San Sultan, can add it and create a story. So that's why we do what we do, and that's why when we have guests here, it gets with a purpose, and we try as much as possible to make sure we get everything.
That's to be a story. to
Everything. You know?
Let me worried now. I'm not shaking.
That's why it's always long as hell.
tell. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, I think, when was the first time you were introduced like to media? Was it when the tribe was splitting? Because there was some sort of coverage.
Yeah. At that time, I really tried to hide my head. I'm like, I don't know what the fuck y'all doing. And I was mad young. I was younger than everybody else. Like, I was young. I was way younger than all of them. And I would.
I'm sorry. In all of this, as a young girl, in all of this, like, were your parents worried? What were like?
You switch from gospel to.
I was never
switching
gospel.
from. From like we're from
Okay,
church.
from a church. From a
The thing
church
is that,
background.
Just did a couple of conversations.
I've never been in a choir.
You just
I
did a
did
couple of
one
conversations.
convention. One convention at
I
9.
made everybody cry.
One convention at 9. That was the Discovery.
Yeah.
And then.
Moved on.
But they didn't
And
treat
then-
when you
And
left
you moved on.
to start doing.
Well,
Like,
it was.
you
It
started
was.
home late.
There's no choir.
It was two ways, because my dad has always been supportive.
Yeah.
My sister, I had one particular sister. Oh my God, I hope she's listening because she stressed my life. She would report me to my eldest brother and say to my brother that she wants to go and be singing at the shrine. Do you know what they do there at the shrine?
Yeah,
I was
yeah.
really, really young. And my dad said, listen, this girl is adamant and she says this is what she wants to do. You just don't know. Leave her alone. And my brother was like, she's not going anywhere. I don't mind if you disown me. I'm telling you, the thing almost became a family problem.
Yeah.
And then I had to chill. But yes, I scaled fence. Like,
Standard.
No,
yeah.
back the artists of that era, those.
And it was not because I was chasing boys. It was just I just
Music.
wanted to do
Yeah.
music. Like
Yeah.
I would go out. I even had one time. This is crazy. My brother cut my hair because I came back really. I was at my brother's place for some time, and I came back really late. I think my sister was supposed to go to school. She was in the last two, and she was supposed to go to school. She was watching my brother's kid, and I didn't come back on time. I was in the studio, and I just forgot when I came back. My brother cuts my hair. Like, I'm not even joking. He cuts my hair. He said, he cuts my hair. And it didn't stop me. I just was alive once I was in the studio.
Yeah.
I just was alive. It didn't have to be my song. I would always follow Faze to the studio. And the first time I met Cobams, oh my God, I wanted to run
What year
mad.
was that?
I don't even know. It was 2000 and something. Like the early 2000s.
Maintain era.
Yeah, it was. It
He was
was.
producing for Maintain.
He was. Yeah, he was still a Unilag then.
Okay. He produced I Catch Cold.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that era.
Yeah.
That era where he was working with Faze
Yeah.
on when question mark.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
No, before then. No, even way
before
no,
then.
it was way before then.
Phase Alone era.
No,
No.
way before Faze alone.
Wow.
Wow.
This was way before Faze alone.
That's way before Maintain.
I met Cobams
Maintain was not.
at this studio in it was Lagos Island. I went with Faze, and I was looking at him like, how? I was just like I
How
was
is
like,
this guy doing this? This guy's
how?
blind. How is he doing it?
I was just looking at him like, how? What are you? Like, I was looking at him like, what are you? And he would say, okay, so I need you to go there and do. I'm like, who is this guy? And then he said, Niyola, I've heard so much about you. I was like, I've heard so much about you. Faze has told me so much about you. So there was a girl he was trying to. So it was a movie soundtrack.
Yeah. Yeah. He was doing movie soundtrack.
He was doing a movie soundtrack that Faze had recorded. It was called Unburied Skeletons. And
video.
the girl, I think the girl was the girlfriend of the producer, and he wanted the girl to sing on it by force, but it wasn't sounding nice.
Yeah.
So they were having a hard time just finishing the recording. It was like, Niyola, I don't mean to be rude, but I don't know, but I just believe I can hear that you can do this. Can you just do this one line for me? I'm like, oh. And then I went to the studio and I sang. It was like, oh my God. I was in awe of this man. I was like, how are you blind? And they were like, oh, go here. And I'm like, how does he know what to do? And obviously he was also young.
Yeah.
I'm like, how? And I had a whole conversation with him. He told me how he learned to play piano from the telephone, the sound of the telephone from 5999
yeah.
with, and he used to play Mary Had a Little Lamb with it.
What the hell?
And I now went home and started pressing my telephone in the house. Pop, 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 pop. I started trying to play Mary Had a Little Lamb from the phone. Those are one of the things that I could never forget. These are things that have helped me, helped me decide growing as an artist that, this is where I need to be.
Yeah.
Meeting Cobhams was one of those things.
Wow.
Meeting Cobhams was one of those things. And Sound Sultan, God bless him, man. God bless him. He pushed me. He would write for me. He would say, "You better do it." You better do it. And also freestyle I jump started Freestyle's Make Some Noise Productions. He was a producer. And we did this song called the first one we did.
Before they splitting,
we
never knew Freestyle could produce.
Yeah.
We all just thought LD production, Freestyle,
right.
Freestyle's gonna come and kill the whole
Yeah, like mad raps, and that's what we thought until, the split happened and we heard his album and we're like,
yeah. And I think that was one of the problems. Yeah. Oh my God. I think that was part of the problem. I feel he just felt like the Tribe, which was LD's outfit, was kind of taking away the original plan of what they were meant to be doing. And it's not like he had a problem with the Tribe. It was just like, okay, you're gonna call us for a show to do. I don't even know if I should be saying this, but fuck it. The Tribesman is being called to perform a show, and then it's now a thing like, oh yeah, instead of Tribesman, how about you get the Tribe? And so I feel he just felt like you can't be doing that. You can't be doing that, especially if you're not consulting us. If it's not we're not a group. Yeah. There is us and there is that. And I think that was the problem. But he probably didn't have the right ways to express his frustration, and that's why it went the way that it did. So that's just how I can sum total the whole thing. So I started with Make Some Noise Production, and we did the song Me and You in the Club. I don't even know if anybody ever knew that. And that was the first time I ever put a song on the radio, and it was crazy. Like Dan Foster, and rhythm. They would play that song Ray Power. I was like, no.
And this is when Nigerian music was just breaking on the radio.
Chemistry?
Yeah. Shout out to Chemistry.
Oh my God.
Rhythm.
Oh my God. They played and played and played.
So that was your first ever,
That was my first single. It was Me and You in the Club. Oh, you acting like you feel it, like you really want to be. I heard it some time ago, like I think last year. I was like, no.
This is me.
This is me. And after that, I did Them Say and whatever. And
so Them Say was the first record I heard.
Yeah, I like Them Say.
Them Say. I did Them Say, and then I met Freestyle, got signed to West Side. And then...
Sorry. Before Them Say, after Me and You in the Club or something, there was no other record?
There was a record. There was no, it was Them Say afterwards. Yeah.
I've heard another record. I'm trying to remember the title. I can't remember that title. Like the first song I heard, not even the...
It was No More Us.
No more.
No
more.
I want to say
more.
It was No More. Yeah. There was that, there was No More, and then there was...
Who was producing this record?
It was LD. It was Make Some Noise Productions. It was him. And then after that, when I got on West Side, was when I started working with OJ.
So how did you guys sign? Who's the guy that owns West Side? I followed him on Facebook.
Solomon Aroya.
Yes, Solomon Aroya. Fantastic.
He had heard what I did with FaZe, and he was like...
And FaZe was on West Side,
FaZe was on West Side, and he said he wanted to work with me, and he wanted to work with Freestyle as well. And Freestyle was like, all right, cool. Because I didn't know nothing about nothing, like...
So how are these contracts working? Like, who was reading your contract?
Exactly. So FaZe had to bring... FaZe was already... Freestyle was already signed to Now Music then, Ife Morbe. And Freestyle took me to Ife and said, I want you to manage her. And Ife was like, I don't know. I don't know. He said, in his words, he said, I thought you were just a pretty face with no head, with no brains.
Whoa.
And then that's what he said. You know how Ife is.
Yeah, straight up.
It's like, yeah, I thought you were just, and then he heard my music and was like, yeah, have fucks with it. And then that's how we started working. So it was me, freestyle, raw, rugged man, Mr. Cool.
Yeah,
God
sound.
damn it.
Two-Face.
Era of now music. That's the best era of now music.
That's when.
Tuna
Hey.
That's it.
Yeah.
Tuna Mumi Obey.
He packed a lot of people.
How do you do that? That's,
No,
that's,
those
And he had-
shout out to Ife. Shout out to Ife.
And
Shout
he
out
had
to
like
Dub.
now the best managers under him. Like now the best artist
yeah,
managers.
Yeah.
He had all of them.
He
under
had
him.
Joyce, he had
Yeah.
Don T, Jolomi.
Jolomi, that does the breakdance.
Yeah.
The breakdance competition.
Yeah, a whole lot of people. And so that's where it started from with West Side.
Wow.
And
Wow.
my first major show that I'd done was when Akon had first come to Nigeria.
Yeah.
Because West Side had brought Akon to Nigeria, and that was the first time I saw it was at the Oceanside, Eco Hotel.
The
Yeah.
outside was popping.
Well, that was the Echo Hotel
That's-
before Echo Hotel.
Yeah.
That's 2004 now.
There is. Yeah.
That's too
Mate.
far.
Back then, boys couldn't even get in.
Now for hip hop, we they see the photos. Oh, this
It that was my first like major concert. I'd done shows at Do It All here and there. I would do shows every now and again in
Damn,
Festa.
man.
Oh, fuck. Moving on.
What's wrong with
Moving
you?
on. It's probably like a millionaire.
But why don't you know anything?
I didn't grow up
was
in
in
Lagos.
Ughelli,
I was in
no.
Delta
Delta
State.
was a one back then. You know.
Delta was sick.
Umpa deck.
This is not the
cute.
internet.
You know how
This is not
serious it
the-
is. You know how serious
This is not
it
the,
is.
this is not the internet era. So we just get with what Sound City gives
Radio.
us. Yeah,
Oh, what
Sound
radio is
City, or
giving
what
them,
radio
or
is
the
giving us,
magazines
so,
that they can read.
you know, like the really Lagos music culture. Like that.
That
Wow.
period.
They just put me through. They
Yeah.
just put me through it. I think.
Give him like a crash course.
Yeah.
Okay.
2008 when he started fucking, you know.
Yeah.
But I know my shit though. For somebody who grew up in Delta State.
Yeah.
No, but a lot of people. I know a lot of people who grew up in the East that
Yeah.
still.
Yeah,
East
you
was
have
still-
to.
If it was
East-
Enugu, yes,
East-
you
Enugu.
understand.
Okay,
East
well,
was very
okay,
good.
yeah.
It passes
Okay.
through on each
This
other.
is Ughelli North in
The
Delta.
hinterland.
Shit.
The hinterland.
You know how Syria is.
Bulldogs on the south.
I'm dead.
Fantastic. So signed to West Side Music.
That's why I started working with OJB and released Bring It On.
First of all,
First things first, man. Shout out to OJB.
shout out to OJB. First things first.
Yeah.
May he rest in power. Tell us, what's the experience like?
Working with OJB?
Yeah. Because I listened to your album, and my best track on your album, that album, Go.
Oh, I love that song. Yeah.
OJB is too good.
Yeah.
But like, what was it like? Because this is gold OJB. This
It was
is OJB touch
amazing.
anybody turn to.
It was
Superstar.
amazing.
Don't
Do you know
This is
that once
point
I
beats,
released that
silver
album?
points.
Once I released that album, it was not mixed. What? That album wasn't mixed.
They put it out.
They put it out
Why did Mr. Roya put out that album?
because he didn't know any better. He was like, "This thing is good. What are you people talking about?"
No, back then, it was a rough one. Back
What are
then,
you
it was a rough
people,
one.
what are you people talking about? This
This is
thing
Wild
is
Wild
good.
West, man.
Next, we just gave it to the Alaba people,
They
It
went
was
wild.
Alaba era,
and they
man.
put it out. Yeah,
Peter Folorunsho show. You just do the disc
give it to
and
them.
the cover.
Ah, God.
Took
God.
you back around.
God.
He was the one doing all the. He wasn't Peter Folorunsho show. He would do all the parts. So every CD pack just see printed by
Nah,
Peter
Peter
Folorunsho.
Folorunsho.
That guy.
He made money.
See, bro, I'm saying every single album released in the space of 10 years was
Yeah.
printed
Folorunsho.
and
That
packaged
Alaba
by
time, man.
Peter
Oh, God.
Folorunsho.
Shout out to that guy.
If you didn't get a marketer to do stuff for you, you were,
You're not hot, son.
Yeah.
and you won't make money.
Who marketed your album?
I don't
think
know. I think it
Westside
was
had the-
Joe something. What's his name again?
Tijo.
Tijo.
TJ.
Oh,
He
TJ.
was the man back then. Now.
TJ was the don. TJ was so hot. TJ dropped his own album.
You know.
Like a compilation album. It was
Oh, really?
Tijo had the record.
Yeah.
I even thought you
TJ
said,
Tijo Records.
no, I even thought you wanted to
Music
say,
business is TJ Records.
yeah,
Too short,
I thought you wanted to
music
say
Yeah.
like he was so big.
business. That he did it.
He called for a plantation album himself.
Yes, he did.
Oh yeah.
He did stuff for a plantation
He
album.
said,
No,
listen,
no.
I want you guys to come together. I want an album.
The money is good.
The body and soul now.
Yeah, no.
No,
Plan
the
B.
plan B, sorry. Plan B.
Yeah,
He said,
2007.
come
Yeah,
together. I want you guys
that's
to do an
true.
album. Like,
Yeah, come back because they were all
they were
hot.
all hot now. He said, come
Individual.
on.
For P-Square, was doing photo shoots for them. I was like giving them money for videos.
You know, we need to get to John podcast.
Yeah, let's do
We're
that.
going to get to John podcast. We have to.
Yeah.
We have to. Anyway, so when the album dropped,
Mm-hmm.
and I can still remember the album cover. Why was it self-titled? Why is it self-titled, Niyola?
It was self-titled because I couldn't just think of a name that was more
I like that
appropriate.
honesty.
I couldn't think of anything that was more appropriate. I felt like, okay, my name is Niyola, and my dad would call me Niyola, and so I coined that out of it. And FaZe would also call me Niyola, and that's how a lot of people.
Wait, hold on. Are you trying to tell me at the time you met, like LD, all that period?
I was already
before?
Niyola.
Okay.
Oh,
Okay, cool.
I was already Niyola because it was FaZe. It was really FaZe and freestyle that pushed me into it. It was an accident. I did not plan to do it. It was an accident. Freestyle was like, do you know what you can achieve? Do you know that you have something that you could do? FaZe's way was to always try to put me on his records, and he would take me to shows with him, and he would call me out to maybe come up and perform with him. But freestyle took me in the studio and made me record.
Like, do this record.
Yeah, he'd be like,
let's produce
yeah,
this.
he would make me write. I'd be like, I don't know how to write. He'd be like, listen, this is how you write. Like, just, and he did that for me.
So talented.
Yes,
Yes.
yeah.
Did you
very,
always call
very.
him freestyle or infon?
I used to call him fun. I never really called him freestyle.
Yeah, I never just
You call me-
freestyle doesn't look like an infon.
Yeah, he
Let's
did.
call him freestyle, man.
I never called him. I think because when I met him, he had introduced himself to me as Mfon. My name is Mfon, and then
So you know why I asked you? Yeah, tough question. You know why I asked you about like the media?
yeah,
So again, coming from my perspective, reading, the magazines, listening on radio, talking with my friends, there was always a lot of buzz between you and freestyle.
Yeah.
Like you guys were in a relationship, or this, or that. How did that come about?
well, because it's when people see man and woman together,
They must talk.
they must
Not
talk.
Nigeria Media. I think Nigeria Media was really bored at that point. So
No, because see,
When they see
they
you-
doubled down.
no, they doubled down.
They doubled down on it. It was.
It was
wasn't
it was an
yeah.
actual problem. Like it was an actual
And
problem.
how did you handle it?
Before I started doing music, before I decided to do music, the one person that I know that I really studied was Genevieve, and I would
Nigeria's
That's our
first
first
lady.
yeah
That's like the- yeah,
that's what
I
she did.
studied her and I was like, this woman, they would say this about her, say that about her, and I realized that
silent.
people would say a whole lot of things about you. All you need to know, you have to know who you are before you come into this business. If not, you will run mad. And so I really didn't care what anybody said. Only what matters, and that's always been me.
Facts.
So
But did it affect your relationship with him?
no, not in the slightest.
Because freestyle is freestyle. Anyway.
He's who he is, and I'm
King Free.
who I am. So they didn't.
So how did you not get in touch with like Paul Play again? Tell me, like, walk us through the production and the process of putting the album together.
I would go I was in journalism school, and I would go from school.
Don't say
NIG.
I went there for
a
a
minute.
very
Alright,
short.
you still
Then
went
I
there?
went to
I
the.
went there for like an hour.
Yeah. Still went there for a year.
She's
Let-
alumni.
Oh, man.
Really,
Yeah.
and then I went to the one owned by PM News,
Oh, okay.
Okay,
I
that
know.
must have still
Yeah.
been better.
Man, I'm not sure it's better. Bro.
IJC. So I would go from Ikeja every day to Shomolu, and we would just lock ourselves up in the studio. We had all sorts of people. Mehdi.
Yo, hold on.
Yo.
Maybe it was
What?
a lag boy then.
Mehdi was a lag boy. Mehdi
Yeah.
used to come with his partner. He had a partner called Okwe that they used to make music together. DJ Z's, all of them started from that lab. We used to call it Murphy's lab.
Oh, the process is hard.
Man, you have to go. You can't avoid.
So
the
you
hustle.
people that listen, that you just dropped your SoundCloud leak yesterday.
Why are disturbing me, my
I say,
Instagram?
oh God, leave me alone.
And now
You don't do 7 years, first of all, you will not next.
I
We not come
literally
next.
told one guy, he said he has sent you the. I said, I'm supposed to write that now. That's what I told the guy. I don't listen to music. Leave me alone. I said, send it to her. You said, I've sent it to Osagi. Osagi is not replying me. I said, send him again.
No, but it's different now though, because now you have the social media.
Yeah, man.
You like I always say
That's the
that.
thing. They don't want the process.
But can you skip
they don't
that?
want
You
that
can't
process.
skip
You
that.
can't
That's
skip the
How for you because of
hustle.
radio? Yeah.
What?
If I'm not-
Let Emma come and tell you how we used to go from from Fadei
Yeah.
to Ray Power in Alagbado for interviews.
Alagbado.
You enter bus. You literally enter bus and or enter bike
Yeah.
to go. Like it was crazy, and it was not like it's not like you really expected any remuneration of
No.
any sort. It was just
It's just
this is
passion.
what
It's
makes
just-
my heart beat.
yeah,
Like
yeah.
this is what I really want to do.
To be fair with the new age guys too, I don't think it's about money. It's also about
Yeah, it's
that
about
passion.
that passion.
Yeah.
It's about that passion.
But
Yeah,
it's
yeah,
like
yeah.
most of the time you want to speed up the process. That's the issue.
Yeah.
But I also can't really blame them because the process looks as if that's what it is. Like
No.
it has to be sped up.
yeah.
Social media, instant gratification, instant acceptance.
Yeah.
So it's really not their fault. They're just born in a time. If
When
they were
it's
in
set
a
up,
time
yeah.
where
Nobody was seeing them.
they will still go
You
through.
also go to the
Now, during that process, everybody, the eyes are on you because there's Instagram. You have to show up. You have to put
Imagine
up
if Two-Face
pictures.
came
Yeah,
in this era.
yeah.
As
Yeah.
talented as he is,
It would be hard.
he will still think
Yeah.
it's the drop the single, then try and push it and all that. So also I think the whole
The dynamics have
timing and the
changed, yeah.
dynamics of everything has changed.
It's changed and it's so there's a girl, shout out to Shay, her name is Shay Ogunaiki. She's really talented. She plays I think 4 instruments.
Wow.
She plays the bass guitar, she plays the guitar, and she plays I think the drums and she plays piano.
Wow.
And I met her in London and she was like, oh, she wants to come to Nigeria. She just wants to come to me. I'm like,
Stop!
don't do it.
When you say 4 instruments, I need to not here.
I'm like, don't do it. I'm like, don't believe the facade. It's
Yeah.
great if you have something you're coming to do here, but don't believe that the grass is greener on the other side. Just keep doing what you're doing, and then just the dots will
from there.
connect.
Yeah.
Look at
Yeah.
Malik. Malik started from here,
Yeah.
and it took him to go back and just be in his own comfort zone and do him
Just do him,
for him
yeah.
to now be paid attention to, and a whole lot of people. And I say to people that it's not about where you are. It's the jet age, it's the internet age. Like from wherever you are, you
Anywhere.
could do
Yeah.
anything from anywhere.
Yeah.
You know,
Anything from anywhere.
My cousin was telling me recently that Naira Marley is actually UK based.
Yeah, he
Yeah,
is.
it's not Nigeria.
I was blown away.
He is
Where
UK
where
based.
I need a foreign media I'm messing him.
Wow.
Yeah.
Oh, he's not even allowed
He's not allowed to
to.
leave the country. Okay, so all right, shout out to Naira Marley, yeah, and everything. But yeah, I mean, and I had no idea.
Yeah.
I thought it was.
Oh,
I
man.
had no
man.
idea.
The way that song blew off like the international arena,
Yeah.
there's a connection somewhere.
I was watching the World Cup in London,
Yeah.
and they played.
Yes, now it's a go.
So, yeah.
I was whiling. I was Mologo and I that were when we were
Yeah.
whiling. We were like, yo.
Wow.
Yeah, man.
Wow.
It's UK based.
So the process of the album.
Yeah.
The process of
production,
the album. Yeah, we just go there every day. We had no structure or
was the
format.
Chief engineer there, like recording, taking vocals, producing.
Freestyle did everything.
Wow.
It was, you know how the setup was then. You have your mic, you have your computer, you have your speakers,
Take your vocals.
and you have your sound card. And that was it. That was it.
Wow. So how did you get the beats? Poplar did some production.
Yeah, I would go to Pop Play Studio every time. That's where I met K Solo.
Yeah.
And I'd be like, listen to what I've done. He'd be like, you just girl, your voice. He'd be like, you just girl, your voice.
That's good.
He'd be like, you just girl, your voice. And that's where I met Del B too.
Yeah, he said it. He said
I
it.
did
publicity,
this jingle
yeah.
for, I used to do a lot of, matter of fact, I did a lot of jingles back in the day.
K Solo said, he did the
Indomie
Indomie jingle.
Indomie. I did a lot of jingles. My God, that was how I made money in school.
And he
Like,
got paid.
I would get paid 3K, 5K
So for the ad agencies, right? Yeah.
for the ad agencies. Like, it was bullshit money, but it was at that time.
Yeah.
It was.
Yeah.
It was something. I just broke my nail, but yeah.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Thank you. So I did a lot of jingles. I met Del B. We did a jingle for Coke
Wow.
and a Christmas jingle. It is Christmas. Merry,
How you
Merry
doing?
Christmas
No, I don't know. Skip that
to
one.
you. It was Del B that produced that, and that's where I met Del B and K Solo at Pop Play
Play
Studio,
Studio.
and they were like,
And K Solo told us something very interesting that blew our minds away. That he co-produced. He started like main production of Forever.
yeah.
and that you had vocals on the song.
Yeah.
And when he
He
said
was the one who said it. We didn't.
I don't know if you watched the video. We lost our mind.
So he said it and was like, it was like it was a part of his story. I was like, no, calm down.
No, this one he said, let me blow your mind.
Let me shock you.
Let me
shock you.
Guess who was on the vocals?
Oh, man.
And he said,
Niyola.
Oh, God.
and we lost it.
Oh,
Because we never knew who was on the vocals. We thought that song was probably recorded in Yankee song.
No, it was it was a
So how
Paul
did you get on that song?
It was Paul Play. He called me and said he wanted my vocals on it, on some songs.
Okay.
And I went there and I did it, and it sounded nice.
It's an amazing
I used to do a lot of background vocals with people.
Yeah.
I did Share My Heart for Faze.
Mm.
Wanna share my heart with you. I did a lot of background vocals, like that I myself don't even remember. I did a lot of that. They would just call you and be like, "What are you doing? Come through," and I would just go. Like I was just happy to go. And that's how it was in those days. And for OJB also, it was easy. We'd just be in the studio. OJB would just lay one or two things. You'd be like, okay, what comes to your mind? I'd be like, I don't know. Let me bust your brain. Bring it on.
Yeah.
I'd done an original version which had rappers on it. It had Slug. Remember Slug?
Yes.
Yeah, no slug.
It had Slug. It had, I can't even remember the people on it now. Like,
Rough, Rugged, and Raw.
Rough. No, I think it had a whole bunch of rappers. I don't remember.
Jafar.
No, not even none of those people. It had Slug. It had Freestyle. It had, I think, Rugged. I don't even know. And then Jazzman.
Laughing.
You know, Jazzman and OJB were really cool.
Yeah, 5 and 6.
So Jazzman heard it and said, you know,
I think I might need
Is it-
that beat.
I want to write a verse for you on that thing. And then we were in the studio that day. And then he said something like, why you wanna put me down just when I start to come around. Looking at me, I swear to God, that's how we co-wrote the song.
Wow.
Bring It On was co-written by
If you
Jazzman.
look at it, that's actually Jazzman's flow.
He's like, wait a minute.
That's actually
You
Jazzman's
start
flow.
to say, I'm no good. Make
Oh,
him let me
man.
finish. Yeah,
I don't
and
know
that's
if you
how.
guys know how Jazzman writes or
I
how he
don't know.
sings, but that is his flow.
Yeah, that's how that song came about. Because there was an original
Man,
version.
Jazzman was in the band before the band. I
Yeah,
tweeted that
he
thing
was.
one time, and people.
People cussed you out.
No, they didn't. People actually agreed.
Oh.
No,
Okay.
Jazzman
Jazzman.
laughing. Oh my
Jazzman.
God.
Jazzman is dope, and that's how that came about.
That's so Jazzman like.
That's how that
That's
came
why he's
about.
responsible for my love for Lagos now.
Really?
That,
That
Lagos song.
Yeah.
Oh shit.
That's a going.
Yeah.
Wow. Did you ever meet Lexidu, Jazzman's?
What?
You know when they were what's the name of the group?
Ex-appeal.
Ex-appeal.
To the break of
That was that's the first time I met Kafi. Kafi the dancer.
But Kafi is already there.
It was
Sorry.
that's another person who she has contributed so much.
So much, man.
So much. At the time, it was her, Michael, DNMT.
Yeah,
they were all in a
that's
group
not the big
together,
thing.
and it was Yellow Festival that we were doing then.
Shout out to himself.
Shout
I used to
Put some
perform. I
checks
used to
out.
perform. That's how Sasha's clothing line started, because it was a thing of she couldn't really find things that she wanted to wear that made her like. She's like, I know how I want to look, and so we would go to Yaba Market and buy fabric, and find a tailor that would tailor things to look exactly how we wanted. And that's how she started making it. People would see on her and be like, oh, these tops, how did you make this? You're like, you want it, I can make it for you. And that's how she started Eclectic by Sasha. I mean, I don't know, I can't tell you the full story because it's not my thing, but that's
That's part of it.
yes, Sasha definitely needs
We need
to
to
come
get Sasha
here.
on podcast.
Sasha definitely needs to be here. And it was Yellow at the time. I met Kafi at Lexidu's video shoot.
Lexidu was dating my cousin.
Oh, this shade you
I can remember Kafi in that video.
This is when Ex-Appeal had split and Jazzman was doing his thing.
And they were still killing it though. Like,
Solo artists, they were killing it.
That was the first time I met Kafi.
And Kafi killed that video.
Yeah.
KK.
And then after that, it was Rugged. Dancia Barata,
That video almost stopped you in the line because you didn't watch it. The problem. Not sure that 11:45 again.
I still remember the shoot. I still remember the shoot.
Yeah.
I rock from every land, I am quicker than Rocket Man. No.
Jujujum.
Joe Kenny.
No, Joe Kenny.
This big.
Oh my God.
Joe
Joe Kenny, he's still producing. Joe Kenny was obviously OJB's prodigy.
Yeah.
Definitely.
And sometimes,
Joe Kenny did style it, by the way.
yeah, he would start, Jigga would start a beat at the time. I'm like, yeah, Joe, just finish it, you know? And that was the
What
process.
an era.
back in the
Some people
day.
are just chilling. Just
Because everybody wanted the OJB touch.
touch.
I would give it to you like this now.
And Joe
That's why when
Kenny,
they will say Joe Kenny, they will not put OJB production.
yeah, they have
Okay,
to.
came to our house.
OJB probably
Yeah.
touched
Yeah.
the final touch.
Yeah.
So you put this album together, submitted it to Solomon. What did he say? He said, "Fuck it, become master."
It was like he was taking it to him. He wanted it like yesterday, and we were like, "It's a process. Like you need to let us." We could be like, "You people have not finished. Why have you people not finished this album?" We'd be like, "We're recording, you know." And then I had some songs also that I'd done with freestyle, and we just put everything together on a CD and we submitted to him. Next thing I know, he showed me. He thought it was a surprise, and then he showed it to me. Like, look at them. Like, it's not even mixed. Like what are you doing?
What's wrong with you?
So even now, when I listen to that album, sometimes I cringe. I'm like,
Yeah,
no.
that's good. That's good.
I'm like, no, but
It doesn't matter. It don't matter.
I'm like, no.
It's on Apple Music. If you guys want to hear it, it's on Apple Music. Just type Niyola to come out. It's there. We listen to it. It's fine.
I
It's
can't.
2004, right?
Yeah, 2004.
That's when I was just-
2004.
No, 2007.
Was it 7?
2007.
Big fact, I never bought the album because that day I only had money to buy one album and I saw Sasha's album. So
You've always been a piece of shit.
I actually don't have a hard copy
The hard
because someone stole it from
I have
me.
a hard copy.
How many?
One.
I saw you also buy one.
Only one.
Are you selling?
You see it in Alabama.
I went to Alaba. I didn't see it.
You won't.
I've been everywhere. I've not found it. There are a few albums I'm looking for hard copies. Niyola's album is one of them.
I have mine. I have Faye's. I have Sasha's.
I have all
I have
Faye's
all-
albums.
I have all
I have
all Sasha's
freestyles.
albums.
I have Tribesmen CDs. I have Tribes. Don't look at me like that.
Problem is,
I need to get this thing. I need to visit
I
it.
have.
Where
I
do you
have.
stay again?
Huh?
Yeah, I can't. It'd be wild to just rob Niyola. They say, what did they take?
the CD.
CD.
Yeah, but the CD.
Just take all the CDs.
Like, they just took the CDs. What the hell is wrong with these people? Interesting.
Maybe if I hear robbers went somewhere and just take all the CDs, I'll know it's Sagesha. I'll definitely know.
In this country,
I'll know it's Sagesha.
no.
I'll know it's Sagesha.
I have to.
Another person that I know is a collector, which is shocking. Odusi, that boy is not normal.
Yeah,
No,
I see the vibe.
I keep telling
We
Odusi.
talked about it. Yeah,
See,
it
that-
shows in
that
the-
boy.
We vibed
Look at it-
before,
look
we
at the
vibed on
samples
it on
in- look at the
intellectual
samples
level
in-
and some other
yeah.
levels. And I knew that.
Odusi needs to
knows.
What's that record
confess
with
what his real age
Desire.
is.
Desire? Look at
That
Desire.
boy is like
Desire,
that boy is like 600 years old.
He's been collecting.
He's an old man.
All right, so just see if you're listening to this, we need to do a face-off.
Say the truth.
We need to just sample. Like, show me your samples. I'll show you mine. I have over 600. You should bring yours, and we just trade.
That boy plays something. So I'm like, how? How did you get that? How did you find it to be like
Shows
this?
in his music, man. He has an old soul,
You listen
He
to
does.
Desire now. Yeah.
Yeah.
You're hearing Baba D's
Yeah.
something
Yeah.
like
and
that.
it's clever sample.
It's kind of something. It's
Yep.
not straight up jaggy, but
Yep.
Shout out to him. Shout out to
Shout out
DC.
to Odusi.
So I wanted to ask. There was one record you were on. You were in Sasha's Adara video, right?
Yes. It was.
So Sasha signs with Storm Records. What was the feeling like? I mean, was she your like close
Yeah, we
buddy
were
at
close
this time?
friends. I got signed 1st to Westside, and then afterwards she got signed to Storm. So it was like, yay, we're signed, you know, and it was a good thing. It was a really good thing.
Interesting. Then
Do you think you'd have made a better choice, like Storm, West Side, like?
I think that my journey is perfect as is, because if I would have everything that I've been through leading here, I see, like I said in the beginning, looking back now, I see why. Like there's nobody I've met in my life that I haven't looked back. I don't believe in I don't believe that things happen. I don't believe in coincidences.
Yeah.
That had to happen, because if it didn't happen that way, some other things wouldn't have happened. And so I don't think that I would have made it better. I don't think it was a bad choice or a good choice or a worse choice. It was just everybody's journey is different. It did what it had to do at the time.
When your family heard the album, what did they say?
I mean, obviously, you know how it is. Oh, my sister. My sister would be the one that would be like, oh, the one that did not want me to do the music. Obviously, the story changed. And my brother, he's a pastor. And he's still, it was
Still
funny.
cutting people's hair?
No, you know what's funny? I actually didn't say anything to him about how hurt I was until this year. Not even just the hair, about the fact that I felt like he didn't believe in me. And we were really close because I could say that I'm a nerd. You could say that, like, I'm sort of a nerd. And so he was also one of the nerds in the family. He was the nerd of the family, and he expected, we were nerds together. All I knew was my books. I would just read anything legible.
Yeah.
And he just didn't get why all of a sudden I just veered into music and music alone. And I think it was just,
leave me with all this book.
he was trying to protect me in the best way that he knew, but he didn't go about it the right way. And I let him know in recent times that he really could have gone about it in another way, and he apologized.
And you guys prayed.
We didn't pray, but I mean, when my mom passed, we had to, I think that was what made me, because for a long time I didn't say anything to him. I was just like, but it puts a big strain on the relationship that we had. I would only see him when we had family functions, and I just didn't want him to, like, he keeps judging me. He's like, if you want to sing in church, sing for God. I'm like, but I am singing for God. Like, but you know how Nigerians are. A lot of people feel like if you're not singing in front of a people, then
you're singing for the devil.
Yeah.
And gospel means good news. Doesn't have to have Jesus in it.
Yeah, I thought of it like that.
Gospel means good news.
And they don't go without one.
We haven't had Good News Bible.
I did.
For the pictures. For the pictures.
That Bible was.
That Bible's whack, I'm sorry.
Is it what?
It's whack because theologians don't use it. All the pastors don't use
But
it.
the Bible
But for
was a very
wicked.
cool Bible.
Yeah, because
It's
they're
still
pictures.
whack,
It was
man. It's
yellow.
whack now.
Yeah.
They're
Yellow
pictures.
We
hardcover.
were kind of deep.
Sorry, I remember.
Yeah.
You
Deeper Life.
attended Deeper Life.
So what happened? Why did you leave Deeper Life?
And you're wearing chains now.
I can't do that.
Using an iPhone.
Watching TV. That's why he doesn't know any of these songs. It's not Delta.
Why you saying whoa? I've always said this.
That's
I've always
why.
said this thing on this podcast now, right? Why you saying whoa?
That's the real reason. That's the real reason.
We're hiding in plain sight.
Yeah, man, I was hiding, bro. I've always said it on this podcast now. You guys are trash.
So what happened?
You had a hidden TV. Though.
Nothing happened. Like we had
His father was a rebel.
a TV in the room.
Shout out to
Well, what did you used to watch?
Just to watch anything that comes on TV. Just football, music, anything. Yeah.
Did you watch? You didn't watch USA 94 then?
I watched this. Once I watched this.
What this check?
Just check. So post album, post West, like so, the rollout. I think at the era the album dropped was the era where things weren't going wasn't like, things weren't exploding. People were dropping albums, moving on to the next thing and all that, trying to get gigs. People were still finding themselves. The industry was still shit.
It was the calm before the storm.
Yeah.
Exactly. And I think that is the era, you drop the album. Just
Yeah.
that
Before that shit
window.
happened.
Before the shit.
And as soon as I dropped the album, I left West Side because my contract had expired. And also,
you didn't do any promo around it. How many videos did you shoot? There were like 3 singles, right?
they shot Bring It On. That was the shot Bring It On. I think it was just 2 videos we shot off it because at the time I was done. I was just like, this guy doesn't know the first thing about nothing.
Yeah.
And there were a whole other things that happened, which I never really spoke about
Yeah.
ever. Ife was fighting for me because Mr. Solomon was what's the word? He didn't understand the first thing about music or the music business, and he would resort to threats and sometimes be violent, and I just had to leave. I've never spoken about this before, never in front of a camera.
He hit you?
He physically harassed me.
Just because he wanted things to be.
You don't
He wanted things to be done his way. Yeah.
I mean, maybe that, but it just didn't feel okay for me, and I needed to leave.
You didn't feel safe.
So I didn't feel safe, and so I just did that. Let my people go. Like, okay, here's the album, which is why he put out the album. Like, let me just put this album out, and then
Everybody just
so
let's move on.
and we went on from there. And after then, I had to decide if I really wanted to do music because I was now seeing kilo de kila de, I took a break, and I started to perform with Ayo Bankole. I don't know if you know Ayo Bankole, the maestro. He plays classical music, like Muson. He would perform. He had a band, and so I used to perform with his band. I was performing with his band. You know the song, I think I just come, I did go out. I think his father wrote that song.
Wow.
And I used to perform with his band. We used to do luncheons, AGMs, and I was just in the band, and I was just performing like repertoires and everything. I did enjoy it. I did enjoy it because it opened me up to another side of being a musician.
Live music performance.
Yeah. So, but I would always tell him, that I need to go back in the studio because he owned Minstrel Craft. I don't know if you know about Minstrel Craft. It's one of the biggest and first studios in Surulere, owned by Ayo Bankole, and then there was Clink Studios owned by Kingsley Ogoro. Those were the places. Yeah, those were the places that I used to work, and then I was doing movie soundtracks with Ndubusi Oko. I started doing. I started doing jingles. I did jingles at Clink Studios and Digitrax Studios.
Digitrax. What was Digitrax? Allen?
No, right here at TBS.
TBS.
Tafa Balewa Square. I did jingles for Oleum. I did jingles for FCMB. I did jingles for radio stations. I did a whole lot of jingles.
Period.
I just did a whole. That was how I got through school, because also it was, you want to do this music thing. I was like, yeah, I want to do this music thing. I'm going to figure my life out.
Yeah.
So nobody did nothing for me. I literally figured my life out with music. So music literally saved my life and helped me figure out who I was. And yeah. And so after that, I decided that, okay, I'm ready to come back and do music. Oh, that was when music had now started to become...
The badges and P-squares.
Then
Yeah.
And the sound advanced again. And Banky had... This
Were
is
you
so
on
funny.
advanced warning?
No.
No.
Banky had... when he came from... I'd met him at the Ovation Red Carol when he first came to Nigeria to perform for the first time.
That was when Banky was talking with a light voice.
Yeah.
Hi, Banky Doppin here. And Feko wanted to interview him, man.
Feko.
Everybody knows Feko. Shout out to Feko.
Oh my
That
God.
was Botsy Banky. Ah!
Banky came out.
Banky has... Lagos has happened to Banky.
I mean, after that robbery
They're
accident.
tracking Banky now.
Lagos has happened to him.
Lagos.
Lagos has happened to him.
Yeah.
Yeah. So Banky and I were friends. Like we would always chat when I was in school. Like whenever he was in the States, we chat back and forth. So one day he hit me up and was like, "What's going on with you?" I wanted to feature Skills on the song that I wanted to release.
Skillu.
It was a song called Unpredictable.
Unpredictable.
Yeah, and it was produced by EXO.
Yeah. Shout out to EXO.
Shout out to EXO. That's
Extraordinary
also an
Extraordinary
amazing
one.
producer,
Casting.
writer. Oh my God. Yeah.
Oh, God.
They were he was part of Thoroughbreds. You know that?
With Venomous.
Yes.
Yes, I know.
And Ill Bliss and all of them. Okay.
Before
Mr. Connect.
and he was in North Noise.
Oh yeah. True.
Enough Noise, him, Venomous, and a couple of other
This
guys.
deep
The guys that
Nigeria.
Okay.
But all of them,
guys now
Caliphate.
became
Caliphate.
Yeah,
Ah.
that's right.
Yeah, that's another.
A lot of merger and acquisitions
Oh
in
my
Nigeria.
god. Oh,
You know, the
God.
Enough Noise and Thoroughbreds had beef. Yeah,
Strong one.
that's undocumented.
Yeah, no
Enough
problem.
undocumented rabbits in this country. Now.
People
Enough.
need to make documentaries. Where are the filmmakers?
We're trying. We're working on some things.
We'll get there. We'll
Okay.
We're
get
working on some things. But we need a Two-Face movie. We need a tribe movie. There are movies we need. You know how you have like
We
a
need a
Tupac movie?
hip hop something called like just.
We need a documentary. First
need a
of all, that
documentary.
has everybody. I don't know how, and it has to be like a series. So like you know how Netflix dropped like 13-part series.
Yeah.
That's how it has to.
I think a lot of people are willing to talk. You just with most of these guys, they're ready to tell you stories, man. You just to get their throat.
If I get funded, I can do this shit.
It's good
And I've
fun.
just captured from 98 to when? When do you stop?
From
That's the thing.
92.
You can talk to Netflix.
You can stop till now.
From 92, actually. You can't do from 98. People don't know. Like,
I
there's
do
a
98, but I did.
98
Yeah,
is
you did.
even 98 is
No, no,
even
no.
good.
You go back a little bit.
You go back a little
like
bit.
Kings Logolo was a rapper.
Like, okay,
Many
you're
people
talking
don't
about
know.
98. You're not going to include the Allen Avenue.
Kings
No,
Logolo was a
what I
rapper.
can do is start from 98, then just do a preamble to 98, like in one
A
episode.
flashback.
Yeah, like
Yeah,
do a 92,
flashback, yeah,
like in
yeah.
one episode, say this is what.
The 80s too, Seth, because we had.
Yeah, no, that was the first.
No, that's another.
That was the first
another
round. That was
era.
Well, if
our-
you want to do hip hop, that's where it starts from.
Yeah, that was
It's
the
not-
80s,
I don't know.
90s.
Guys, that is my own documentary now.
Guy, there's nothing in your own here. It's Blue Talk's documentary. Get the fuck out of
It's
here.
not me that wants to shoot the documentary.
Who can do the whole research and everything?
What I'm saying is, I want to start from 98. Why is it a problem to start from
Because it will
98?
be unfair to the people who started in the 80s. Like I said, do you know Kings
There's
Logo?
somebody else who do that. You
understand,
can't all do.
bro.
You
Do you
can't
know
do
Kings
it
Logo
all
was
at
a
once.
rapper? You want to leave Kings Logo?
If somebody had to make a Destiny's Child documentary, they would do Destiny's Child. And if they want to do Beyonce, they would do Beyonce.
Fam,
That was too shy. Okay, we'll start from 98 anyway.
Uh-huh.
Now for you.
Okay.
Now for you. I wanted to ask you, is that your vocals on Freestyles okay?
Yeah.
Wow.
First of all, that beat is insane.
I haven't
have to
heard
say-
anything like that.
Shout out to Star FM because I heard the instrumental first. And my brother was like, who owns this beat? They now play it. No, it was sick.
No. From the raps, and see, hip hop has come a long way.
It
They've
has.
been talented people.
Freestyle
And when you talk
was
about that
amazing.
commercial rap,
It was
commercial rap,
Tribesman.
no. LD's album, Freestyle's album, see, okay.
Bro.
CPZ.
See, Two-Face.
CPZ is a classic. CPZ.
I just was when Two-Face will just kill your
There's
time.
one other record that is very underrated.
Which one?
If I hustle my money,
Yeah.
follow
Love
me,
it,
chop
chop
am.
am.
That was like the top
Now me
single now.
It was big at the time,
It
though.
was big, it was big.
Because I resemble your father. Oh man, that's my record. So songs like that, like Freestyle's album too, was really good. I like that song. Of
You want to
course,
hear it for that? though?
when you heard the song with Blaze, what's the name of that record?
Bragging rights.
Bragging
Bragging
Rights.
Rights.
what was your thoughts on that?
I was there when it was recorded. I was
Whoa!
I was there when what? I was there when it was recorded. How could something wrong be right? Now we get
Now
the
you
bragging
can't be
rights.
tight.
If you die, you can't be tight.
Now we get.
Now we
bragging.
get bragging
You
rights.
were there when it was recorded.
Yeah.
You know, Blaze, I read an interview where Blaze said she had no idea that was what Freestyle wanted to record. That she did her verse, moved on, then
Yeah.
Freestyle did his verse. So, I mean, she was like, because he came on and he was like, okay,
No, that was a hard track. It was
still
a
one of the
hard
hardest
record.
tracks with a pack intro and outro.
It was. Oof,
Yeah.
It was a hard record.
Wow. So, you worked with Ayo Bankole. From our perspective again, Niyola just went silent, right? And
Off
this
Yeah.
is
the
when
radar.
things, the P Squares came. This is when YJ did the vocals for P Square and they didn't give her credit for it. Shout out to P Square.
Peter and
When
Paul.
Omomi now,
About me.
Pira and Paul.
Okay, so
Omomi came on the scene. Advanced warning happened, so we had like YJ.
that was when MTV Base came to Nigeria.
MI had just come on the scene a
Yeah.
bit, and all that was happening.
Yeah.
Do you understand? And what
Like I said, I wasn't sure if I really wanted to continue because of the experiences that I had.
at the first time, yeah.
And for me, at that time, it was like, okay, yeah, I can always do music later. Like, I just need to, So I'd gone to, I'd done, OJB had called me and said they want you to do a theme song for Ovation Red Carol.
Mm.
It was me, Wandeko, and Omaomi at the
That's a
time,
powerful lineup.
and we did the Red Ovation Red Carol theme, and we performed it, and we also did one that was like, it had a lot of females on it. There was there were a whole bunch of people. I just remember YJ, Stasha, and a whole bunch of other people. And after that, I was like, okay, maybe I could give this a shot again, because a whole lot of people were bothering me then. I'd gone to the EME house in Ogudu to meet up with Skills, because Osage.
I run across that house every
That
Saturday.
legendary.
Really?
Yeah.
What do you go there to do?
I run.
Okay,
You
okay.
know, it's like a long road. So I
Yeah,
run
yeah,
on that
yeah,
road.
yeah.
Interestingly, Cobams was staying in the
Yeah, yeah, right
Full
next to
circle.
it. Yeah,
full circle.
yeah. It's so crazy. So I'd gone there and I wanted to. Osage was my friend, and Osage was managing Skills.
Shout out to Osage.
That's another person who needs to come on your show.
Yeah, Osarenho.
That's a big one.
What's her new son again?
Osa.
I can't pronounce it. Shout out to Osa 7. Osa 7. Shout out to you guys.
Osage, Osa 7.
Osa 7. My namesake, that always
Yeah,
puts
yeah.
me in wahala because people keep tweeting at me. Please, can you sign me? Can you introduce me to Whiskey? I'm like, it's not me. It's
Because you're a
this-
nice guy. You say, yes, now you're being on record.
And they will out me later on Instagram. I'm not joking. So you have met up with Osage.
I met up with Osage and I told her I'm such a huge Skills fan. That was when he was rapping.
Yeah.
They're heading for the Grammys era.
era.
Please
yeah.
remind us. Please.
And I was like, yeah, I need to get him on this record. So I did Unpredictable.
Because you're a big fan of rap. You know, you grew up in the rap.
Yeah,
era.
yeah, yeah. I'm a
Golden
big fan
era.
of rap. And then I wanted him on the song. So I went to the EME house and I saw Banky. Banky was like, where have you been? I'm like, yeah, I've just been under the radar, whatever. He's like, listen, you need to make music that is reflecting the times. I'm like, yeah, I think so. And he goes, this Delsu rape thing that's happening, why isn't anybody doing anything about it? I feel like all the female artists are just playing safe, da. Is it IMSU? Yeah, that too. Yeah.
Lawsuits.
Something
Yeah.
soon. Yeah, so he said, you know what? Let us work on something. Let's write something together and release it. And that's how the whole EME conversation started. So I would always go to the EME house and try to record. And they'd be like, okay, let me hear what you've done. I would play it for him. I was working with this guy at the time, Fat E. And I was still recording. I would always record every now and then because people would be like, come on, record. I'm like, I don't know, you know. So I went to, that's where I met Mastercraft. I met Mastercraft
Shout out
at
to
Banky's
Mastercraft.
studio. And we did the first song, which, by the way, was never released. Has still not been released, but it's going to be on my EP. It's called I Believe in Me. And it's a very powerful song talking about just standing for yourself and whatever. And somehow it just never got released. So I did Crazy. I wrote Crazy and I said to Banky, I have this amazing song that, because when Banky and I started talking on him signing me, I told him I can't write. I don't know how to write, you know. So he didn't know, he had no clue. And he had no clue that I could write. I'm a very lazy writer. I don't like writing. I write, but I don't like writing. I'd rather not. So I told him I couldn't write. So we're done I Believe in Me together. He made me write that. And then I said, I have this song that I just done with Mastercraft, because I would always go there to the studio. And I did the song called Crazy. Suffer for me, baby. And when he came back and I played it for him, he was like, what? You wrote that? I said, yes. So he was like, from today, I'm not going to help you again. You will be writing your own songs. And that's how it started. So I had a lot of people come to me then who were trying to sign me left, right, and center. And I was like, yeah, I'm not doing it, because my problem at the time was, you guys don't see where I'm trying to go. When I started out listening to music growing up, there was a certain standard of music that I listened to, and that's what I aspire to. You're not going to make me dumb down what I do, which was what Westside was really doing for the most part. You're not gonna, and OJB helped to find that balance for me, because he was one that was always coming in between. And so I was like, I'm not going to do this. Like, I'm not interested. I'm not hungry. It's not by force. So Banky, I told Banky that, yeah, I'm going for one of those meetings to meet one of these people that want to sign me. And he told me, don't go. make sure you come here tomorrow morning. And then that's how I went to the EMA apartment, and they told me that they were going to sign me, and that's how I got signed on EME.
Wow.
And that's how the
And when you were
new
there,
dispensation started. And the reason why I actually signed with EME was because I felt like, Banky has come from the abroad. And his sound was R&B with a twist, which I thought was interesting. Yeah, this guy knows what he's doing and would have a better idea of where I'm trying to go. And that's why I signed with EME, because a whole lot of people had tried to sign me, and I was like, nope, not interested. Not interested.
He's
So
also a music guy. He knows.
yeah.
But I mean, which labels were these labels?
I don't know. I can't be naming names, man. No, it's okay. There's no need.
Yeah.
All right.
Let's get past the past.
No problem.
Please, I want to know the backstory to this thing.
Oh,
you've not seen it, man?
Oh, there's a Ayo, can you help us look for
I have to start looking for you, no problem.
No, I don't know, Steve.
She's not sharp, right?
He's an ESPN analyst and commentator.
Yeah.
So they asked him a question about something, and he was like, "Was it here no problem?" No, what's it? It's no problem. That ain't no problem. So he was arguing, going back and forth. So they asked him about something. He was like, "That ain't no problem. That ain't no problem."
But the way he
So
said it, his voice was so
it
squeaky.
was very squeaky. So they cut it,
Cut it and made
and
it
they made it
really
into a
massive.
meme. So he say, when a girl says she won't be able to go back home, but can she stay over? Then you put it like, that ain't no problem. That ain't no problem. You know, like stuff like that.
I
So
live under a rock. I literally just go on social media, tweet
Post,
or post
move on.
and dip.
You don't
Hell no. Like,
you don't solve the.
ain't nobody
you
got
don't
time.
read those fire comments.
I mean, the
you see those
things
fire
that people
comments?
be tagging me on. I'm in a group with some crazy people. There's me, Kemi Adetiba, Abiola Oke, Remy Adetiba, and a host of my friends from. Yeah, they.
They keep you updated.
They are good. Though.
Every time I'm laughing like a crazy person, I'm just going hysterical on my phone.
Yeah.
People look at me like, is something wrong with
You
this
have
one?
to
Like I proper crack up and I almost want to pass out.
Yeah.
So that's good enough for me. I don't like the social media is too much for me. It's
It's a
really
lot.
too much. It's
It's
too
a
much
lot.
for me.
It's quite
So when you were going to the EME house, obviously you probably bumped into Wiz.
Yeah,
Eleni,
I've always known Wiz
Yeah.
from Surulere.
And meeting him again, like now he had,
It was
dropped
risky.
the
transform. It was risky then.
He had dropped the album when you went to the house?
I think he had just dropped the album,
album.
and we were working on the EME album.
So fantastic. This is like Wiz that had blown and everything. And meeting him full circle again, how was that like?
It was just like, I'm so proud. I didn't even, I didn't know that Wizkid was Wizkid.
So you didn't know he was coming to OJB studio at the time.
I didn't know that Wizkid
Was this
Wizkid
Wizkid?
again?
Wizkid that I used to hear.
Oh,
I didn't
wow.
know. I knew Tease Me, Tease Me, Tease Me. I knew all those songs, but I didn't know he was one. Because like I said, I'm not a TV guy. I hardly watch TV. I never my TV could be there for months and I wouldn't even turn it on. That's me. I'm just weird.
Wow.
Yeah. So I didn't know Wizkid was Wizkid until not long. I think it was MI that made me know. I was like, no way.
That's the same guy.
That's the same guy.
This is no. And so when the first time we saw each other, I was like, "You, how are you?" And it was seamless.
Yeah.
It was like old times. It was just, Wiz is cool. It's cool.
Whose idea was it to work on the group album? Like start working
It was
on
Banky.
immediately?
The boss.
It was Banky.
It's one of the best group albums
Kai.
ever.
That album,
That's the only album that can try to rival CV album.
CV.
The CV,
Yeah.
the Mohit album.
yeah.
That album,
He had the heat.
He had everything.
God.
That album
well
was
put
fire.
together.
Okay, first
Yeah,
of all,
nerd.
the
What was your
lyricism-
best song?
Hits on hits.
What was your best song?
I have like 4. So the one,
Nobody Can Stop Us Now.
no, that one is like almost.
That's my favorite.
That's almost to the ending. That's like maybe the second to the last. So that one is fire.
Roll it.
This is my best song.
Listen.
I don't have a best
Roll it.
album.
There's no best
At
song.
that point, Wizkid was just automatic. It was just dropping.
There was
Fire
skills.
dancer.
Skills was
There was
in
no
fine form.
skills.
It was in a fine form. Like,
Bum, bum, bum,
oh,
bum, bum, bum.
That song.
Oh yeah. let me tell you, let's break down the album.
And
let's
the videos.
The videos were coming out every month.
Listen.
Back was playing the visuals.
Baddest boy. But can we talk about Baddest Boy?
Sumo me.
Baddest Boy.
Chris Brown put up Baddest Boy on his Instagram.
You know what killed me about Baddest
Put up,
Boy?
like-
Whiskey that sang his part at the end did not say, hold on, please. I'm not done. Because the people don't understand what I'm doing on this song. You're not kidding it again.
No, we.
Okay, there's Baddest Boy, there's Sumo Me. I love Sumo Me.
Yeah,
I love Sumo Me. That's
And
where
then you
guys
know that
did
Rotimi was on that album.
Yes,
Yeah,
now.
Rotimi was on the album.
Yes,
Yeah,
now.
That was my
See,
introduction
I
to
drank
Rotimi.
women.
That was my
See,
introduction to Rotimi.
No, I knew Rotimi
No,
from Gucci Mane.
not just okay used
I-
to.
yeah.
Not just okay used to talk about.
Because visuals
Shout
that hooked me
out,
up.
shout out to Bezu. Shout out to Not Just Okay.
Not just okay.
Who put
Not
that
just
man?
okay. So when he appeared on that album,
On Power.
oh, okay.
It was-
I already knew that I
It was,
was.
I already knew he was
it was Not Just
Yeah,
Okay.
it was Not Just
And
Okay.
particularly, it was Demola. So shout out to
Yeah.
Demola,
Yeah.
Demola
Not Just
G,
Okay.
who put us on Rotimi.
On
He was
Rotimi.
always pushing it. They put
Rotimi
out
was
his
dope.
EP. What's it
They
called?
even try. Not just okay. He tried this. Try pushing this guy. This Nicki's artist.
Yeah, one
Paka,
Nicky.
Paka Igile.
Paka Igile,
Yeah.
Shout out to
They did. That album is a well put together album. Properly honored.
Yeah.
Production had legendary breeds.
Yeah.
Sass.
CME was just busting
Master-
it.
Mastercraft.
It was too much.
Yeah.
No,
And the
was-
concert.
Oh, the concert.
And the lead single. I mean, no, one of the singles, the one you did. Oh man.
No, and everybody's singing
Don't
that.
delay
Everybody
me.
individual
Oh.
single for
Then
That's
that's
my
then she
song.
did not drop them. What was that song that she did? What you? I felt I heard that song. I heard it live at that concert. I said, no, this boy is.
No, no.
This was another
concert
week.
was the first time.
Oh, this was another
Then
week.
the following week, I downloaded the song. Then every day, that's what.
See, that's what pop made Spinlet
yeah,
pop
me.
now.
Yeah, that's how I got the album now. That's how I got the album.
Yeah, everybody had to
Shout
listen
out
to
to
it on
Spinlet.
Spinlet. Yeah.
For like 2 months or so.
Yeah, my old BlackBerry, I used to like.
Blackberry.
Without paying.
Listen to the
Every
album.
month.
Was a really good
No, I think the
album.
first month was like free trial, so that's when I don't go the album. I said bye bye.
Sorry, I didn't work right.
It's a really good album. It's a really good album. And Ayo and I were at the press conference at
My
GRA.
favorite press conference of all time.
Oh.
Yeah, because we
wow.
got paid. We got paid.
Let's just leave that aside. Yeah.
Yeah, we got paid.
I was just going to ask how much you got paid.
Shout out to Bank. Any day.
No, it was really good. It was really good. And they took care of the journalists.
They need the
Gentlemen of the press were satisfied.
They need the importance of the front estate of the realm.
Yes.
The front estate of the realm.
Before I used to carry bike from I've said the story of the podcast.
No, I've said it before.
We used
That
to
time,
carry-
I was
we used to carry
like,
bike.
no, they got Hunger
That
Boys.
day.
Hunger Boys.
That day,
The rumors, Ikeja GRA now.
it took car.
We took cars. We said south. I let Ikeja. GRA too. I let Ikeja.
People were not proud.
We are starting. We talked to your ourselves. Correct.
I mean, we went to the place.
It's like
We bought food. We bought food. That night we didn't start.
That day, before the album, we heard it. We said this album is dope. I trust banking now.
But it
was a really
yeah.
good experience.
It was
We
good.
really loved
Good
the album. And I mean, what was the experience like also? Because you were on some of the records, you had
The
your
sessions,
single.
The sessions, like we all lived together, and the studio was downstairs. So it would come like the Can't Stop Us is a special
Nobody
song to
can
me
stop us now.
because it was like I dropped my vocals. And that's what everybody heard and gingered to be like, yeah, I'm gonna do it like.
Wizzy's verse, Skills came with that
Skills.
fire verse, exclusive with the intro. That was when exclusive was still
I don't think
exclusive.
people understand how talented Skills is.
He is very good.
monster.
We talked about
that's
it,
why we give him
skills.
so much.
We give him stress because
give him so
nigga, we
much
know what you
stress
can
because we know
do.
what's
Yeah.
up.
We know what
Yes.
you can
No,
do.
but everybody has to go through their process.
Yeah, we understand that now.
You have
Get
to
that, we get that
evolve.
now.
And you know the interesting thing? The interesting thing about Skills is I don't know if you guys have heard Mr. Love, but I've heard the
Heard
album, the third album.
No, right.
Musically, he's getting
Yeah,
it's like a curve and he's just doing it
But I
and
even like-
doing it.
I'm-
You'll be surprised then. Skills will give you one album and you'll be like, wow.
I
I'm
even
No,
like-
Skills is very talented. People need to people need to understand.
International acclaim that there is flying a lot under the radar for all of us here.
Yeah, fact.
Diplo had a concert at the Boiler Room, and Skills was the only black guy beside Diplo. They're just chilling. I was like, wow, man. From heading from the ground to this.
No, Skills is very talented. I'm a huge Skills
what
fan.
killed us is that because
The pressure
we
to-
love rap.
obviously.
I know when you're heading for a Grammy as your first single,
Yeah,
you
true.
thought this guy was the Messiah. Like, yeah, right?
Yeah.
And then this is also something that I want to address. So last weekend, I was at Sao and the Muse,
Yeah.
and I don't want to call anybody's name. There was an OAP there. There's another video was like, Niyola, where's your music? Da, 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 da. You know how you would always ask me, but there's a difference when you come from a place of, we're anticipating, we're concerned, and when you're
trying to press.
And I said to him, I said, listen, I said, there is music, but I'm just not, it's not ready. He's like, when is it going to? I'm like, so I said to him, almost like I'm like, I'm not taking it out on you and I'm not frustrated. I'm just one of those people that cannot be pressured. I said, you see, I would rather come out right than come out on top. Just come out on top. Like, I would rather that.
And get that.
And get, because, you know, like, I really, really would, when I listened to, I said when I listened to Solange's album, I was weak. I was like, this album, I mean, it didn't have to take 7 years, but people think that what she means is, it took 7 years to put together. It was a whole process.
And she was at the right place.
And that album came out at the right time because there was a lot going on at the time. Black Lives Matter. So it was perfect for the timing. And it was not just musically or sonically, it was just perfect. So I said to him, I said, there's a lot more thoughts being put into the music I'm making now, or that I make, than to just be churning out music every month or every 2 months. That's great, but that's just not the sort of artist that I am, and that people need to understand that. And he goes, okay.
It was
okay. Because he came at me and I was like, that's what it is. Because there were times where I'll be like, why am I even doing this? Do I really want to be doing this? But then you realize that I can't sleep at night if I don't do it. So that's why I decided to just
kind of like he gets on the cross. So
exactly. So going back to skills, I think he's doing what he's supposed to be doing. You have to evolve. If you listen to the biggest of artists and take them back, listen to what they used to do and compare with what they're doing now, you would see how they evolved.
You're right.
So I think that skills is that the people need to stop pressuring people every time I post something on Instagram. Like you say, have you stopped doing music? Mate, kind of like you can't say that because an artist. What's her name? Janet Jackson is back on stage after how long? It's however you're still flesh and blood, and it's however your process is. Sade Adu is back in the studios. You can't really run away from who you are or what you are. It's your process, and there are many factors.
The thing is it's also hard for you to be a fan of someone and still have that feeling of fulfilled potential. Like you as a fan feeling that this person that I love
can do so much
more. I hear that and I get that. But there's so many factors. There's so many factors. And why do you think people commit suicide and kill themselves and feel like there's so many factors, and people need to stop treating artists or creatives like they're cyborgs or they're superhuman. They're just flesh and blood.
I mean,
they're just flesh and blood at the end of the day, and they have things to work out.
You're actually right. And I mean, I think even for we need to look at ourselves and look at, what we do, our day jobs, and look at your performance.
Exactly.
There's some days you're not just hitting 3 points, man. You will just struggle, might just go out.
So
then for somebody who's that creative on that level,
there's so many things coming at you, so many things that you have to sort it out. I was saying to somebody yesterday, I was like, 2 years ago, I said to Banky 3 years ago, remember I did the show in 2016, that's where it started from. I'd been feeling so uncomfortable. I need to do something. There's something I must do. I spoke to Emma, I spoke to Banky, I was like, I know there's something I need to do, I just don't know how to do it. I want to do something for women, but I know that music is going to give me the platform that I need. But then if I don't do the music, it's not going to give me the leverage that I need to do what I want to do. So, but this music, I'm not satisfied with it. So it was like a whole maze that I needed to figure out. And I said, you know what? I'm going to travel to the States, and then I'm going to go study sound engineering. I'm going to study I'm going to leave Nigeria. Banky was like, oh, that's great. And I already was pretty much in the States. I would be there for 3 months and be here for a month. But I was like, so how do I let go of this place
Yeah.
and just start over from there. That was my thing. But I knew what I was hearing. It was like the signs were there. Everywhere I went, I was hearing it. Like I would be in the studio in the States and they'd be like, what? How do you do that? I'm like, I don't even know anything. Or, you know, I'm here thinking I don't know anything. And they're like, yeah, you don't. But imagine if you spent a little bit of time around these people, what
Yeah.
you could do, because you're like raw, undiluted, and you didn't even get the training, but you already know how. And I thought I was ready. I thought I was ready to go. I was confused. And I said, you know what I'm going to do? I spoke to Sasha and I said, I'm going to do my own headline show. Because I'd been saying to Amy to do that for the longest time. But you're like, you can't just do that. You know, this is Nigeria.
You have to build it up.
So I did my thing. I did it at the Bridge, 2016 December.
Yeah.
And the turnout was really, really good. Like, I didn't make too much noise. I just told, certain people, and I did maybe promo for like, just on my Instagram for like a week or two, partnered with the Nets, and a lot of people came out. And it was not free. It was not free. The money that I spent to do the show, I made it back. I didn't make no profit, but I made them. I didn't run into no debts because of it. And I was like, you see, this is what I've been trying to say. We can't all be like this.
Yeah.
Every artist has what is unique to them, and you have to let them be that person that they are. And it's great that I look the way that I look, just because of like Emma would say, Niyola, because you look the way you look. When people see you, the first thing they'll think of is sex. And I'm like, that's great. I know I'm sexy. That's great. And I'm
Well,
not
we're gonna
running
talk
from
about-
it.
We need to talk about that as well.
What?
Why haven't you changed all these years?
I have
Because
a theory. I have a theory.
What's the theory?
Niyola is a vampire.
Okay.
because it's good genes. And then I take care of myself. I was saying to Bizzle the other day,
You don't eat meat.
I eat meat, but I've always I stopped drinking soda like maybe 11 years ago.
Wow.
I don't tell you I'm from the same unit.
I don't drink soda. I mean, if I drink soda, maybe like once in 8 months. I really don't drink soda. I drink water, period. I drink water if I want to be, I drink yogurt. And then if I had to, maybe juice. I'm very careful what I put into my body. And I mean, in every way.
Yeah,
I'm very careful what I put into my body.
Yeah.
So,
You know the share spirit.
you know what I mean? So I'm very careful what I put into my body, and I work out. And that's pretty much, and of course, good genes as
Good
well.
genes.
Yeah.
Good genes from moms or pops.
I think it's both
Both.
of them, because if you saw
But
my dad,
Niyola, despite all these things, people do all these things too. You haven't changed.
You know the
Do you understand what I'm saying?
I have changed.
No. You have.
Okay.
It looks like you.
it
haven't
looks you look
aged.
like the first time I saw you like you
No, I
You know
was.
what I
I used to
mean?
use. They said, somebody said to me, it was Two-Face, said I looked older when I was young. Not older, but I looked older than what I was at the time
Yeah.
when I was younger.
Definitely. How old were you when you dropped the album?
I think I was like maybe 19. I was very young.
Whoa.
Those days, I was very, very young. Now that I'm older, I look younger. So I don't know.
Wow.
I just started out really early,
Yeah.
like fresh out of high school. And I just got the opportunity and I took it.
you ran with it.
I ran with it. So I feel like I've been doing it forever, but I still haven't started. I'm just starting.
It's an interesting story because it just looks like, there's so much more that's going to happen.
There is. I haven't even scratched the surface, and I know that. And it's exciting for me because I feel like, I was telling you the story of how I decided to now do the show. And
Yeah.
then I did the show and I was like, yeah, this is what I need to do. And I thought I was ready. This was in 2016. I was like, 2017, this is what I'm going to do.
Yeah, we talked.
Yeah, we talked, and this is what I'm going to do, and this is what I'm going to do. And then it so happened that the whole EME thing happened and everybody went their separate ways.
Yeah.
So I'm like, okay, fine, that's great.
Let's dwell on that a bit. With everybody leaving, Wiz was the first person to leave,
Skills.
and then Skills followed. Like, when that was happening, what were the kind of discussions you were having? What kind of discussions were you having with Banky?
I just really wanted to.
Because it's coming from like a climax, right? The album was successful.
Yeah.
You know, did a really successful concert. Everybody's on a high. Then this starts happening.
I think a whole lot of things were happening at the time with Banky as the head of the label. And like I said, as an artist as well, and a label head, you're still, first of all, a human being. And so you have personal things that you have to deal with and sort out. And I think that he was sorting out a lot of things within himself. And I didn't want to be no pressure. And he also was trying to figure stuff out. And there's the pressure of being the head and trying to be the head to everybody else. Even sometimes when you don't know how the hell you're going to figure stuff out, you still have to be the head.
Yeah.
And so I didn't put no pressure on him. What I kept doing was recording. And there were a lot of things that could have been done differently, could have been done better, that weren't done. But it is what it is. And I still take like I said, I still take the positives from it. Like, I don't like to control what I can't change or what I can't fix.
Yeah.
It happened, and it happened. It could have been better. There were a lot of things that could have been done differently. And we've learned from it, and I'm still going on my path. Until I die, nobody can just say, oh, you failed. Oh, you didn't succeed. You know what I mean? So I'm still here. And there were a lot of things that I would have probably gotten so comfortable that I wouldn't have pushed to do a lot of things that I have done now, both home and abroad. I wouldn't have had the need to open myself to things that I have done now that I am doing internationally had I not been in that position. Because it was almost like I didn't know where it was going, but I was like, okay, well, I'm not going to be the one I'm not going to act like everybody else and be like, okay, I want to fight. I want to just ride this through. Let me just get this album out.
And I noticed you were, very like passive.
Yeah.
Yeah. Even though I could feel it, but you were very like passive, and I how would I put it? See, man, like someone always tells me, we always meet ourselves in the future. It's always very important to not
burn bridges
or break relationships.
Yeah.
Find a way to amicably, like let things just go.
Yeah.
And, move on from things, because life is bigger than what we see it as.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And that was my standpoint. And so there was a point where Banky was like, okay, I think I'm ready now. Whatever it was that was going on with me, I think I'm ready now. Like, let's do this. And he called me and he called Shady, and that's when we did the Never Gonna Stop video. And after that, because I said to him, I said, we can't release. Thank you. We can't release South Africa. Yeah, it was a gold mine, an abandoned gold mine, and Meiji shot that video.
It's a fantastic video.
Amazing.
Who wrote the treatment for that video?
Meiji. Meiji
right now, I think is it the best video? Top two. Who's number one?
No, I'm not saying number one.
Okay, just top
Daps too.
Hey, Daps. Okay, so Meiji is there.
Meiji is fire.
I love that video.
Yeah.
I love that video. The ring, everything. I love it.
Yeah. So that video was supposed to be, of course, like I said, in my music, I'm always saying stuff that I mean, because it was saying never gonna stop. Like, what are you talking about? Like, because I seemingly take a break or pull back doesn't mean that I'm gonna stop, you know. And I did that, and that was my last video on EMA because I just wanted to release the album. I wanted to finish the album and just drop it and finish it and drop it. But you see, like, I always like to talk about God. I'm not a preacher or anything, but I always like to talk about God. Sometimes, man, you're out of control and you think you want to go this way, and God is like, nah, you need to go that way. And you're going to keep going that way, and it's going to keep bringing you back. And you're like, what is happening? So I feel like God kept redirecting me and redirecting me and redirecting me to where I am now mentally. So what I did at that point was I went to the States for a while, and I started working on stuff there, which was different. And somebody had said to me that, you're such a deep person. You're so intense. And I don't get that from your music. I feel like you're holding back so much.
Yeah.
I was like, could it be I never ever thought of it like that. I never ever thought of the fact that, oh, this is your music and this is you. You have to marry this and let people see. I never thought of it like that. And it made me think long and hard. I was like, this is the problem. This is why I'm not happy with this music. It's nice, it's melodious, it's great, but this is why I'm not happy with this music. And I had to scrap everything.
Wow.
Yeah. And I went to some place in DC. I camped out there for weeks and I was just recording. And those were some of the best songs that I made in my life because it was so me. Like, I would speak about anything I was feeling. I meet a guy, I like him, and I'm like, okay, I like you, but nothing is going to happen. I'll put it in a song the next day. I'm telling you, like, I'm feeling some type of way, and I put it in the song, and I'm like, oh, okay.
This works.
You know, this works. And that's what I started to do. And it was, for me, a rediscovery. And I came back that's when I now came back in 2016 and did the show. Yeah. So 2017, I had my plans and whatever. In March, the whole EME thing happened. Everybody went their separate ways. Yeah. And I was in New York writing for some publishing company. When I came back to Nigeria in March, April. No. My friend passed in April. So I had to come back to Nigeria. When I came back, I met my mom. She was sick. And so I had recorded Where's the Love, and I was supposed to release it. After releasing it, I was like, I'm going to do a whole rebranding thing. Not just rebranding. I think I talked to you about it. Not just rebranding. I just want people to see me for who I am. And shout out to Kemi Adetiba. Kemi was like, the first way that you should do that is through your social media. She's like, it worked for me. I'll be like, yeah, but I'm a private person. I don't want nobody in my business. She's like, you have the power to show them as much as you want to show them.
You got the power.
So you can take that and just do what you want to do with it. So I started posting on social media and I would just say how I feel. And the days that I didn't post, somebody would DM me and be like, I keep waiting for your post every morning.
Yeah, we saw this post. Very, 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 very inspiring.
And then some people will hit me up. I'm like, Niyola, are you okay? Like, are you depressed? But I'm like, no, I'm not depressed. Like, I just found out that I found my strength from strengthening other people. I'm like, it's a little different from what everybody else would do, but this is me and I have to embrace it. But that's not to say that I cannot be fun when I want to be fun. That's not to say I can't be stupid when I want to be stupid. I'm just a layered person and I just need to figure out how to let people figure out that this is who I am. And that was what I was trying to figure out. I talked to a whole lot of people because I also realized that part of the problems on EME was that our visions and mission wasn't aligned. They had the way that they saw me. Yeah. And I had the way that I saw myself. Yourself. So we would always agree to disagree on a lot of things. But ultimately, I understood that it wasn't anybody's fault. It wasn't my fault. It wasn't their fault. It was just how they understood to do things, and it was good while it lasted.
Is there any, should I say, anger at all at the industry when you feel like you've given so much and you've not gotten much back?
I've gotten a lot.
Okay.
You like, music has done for me things that you wouldn't imagine. Like places that I've been to. You see, the fact that it's not there, it doesn't mean that music has done things for me that I could never have achieved on my own. So I'm good. I'm good. And like I said, I've not even scratched the surface. And it's deeper than the music for me. Music is just that starting point for me to do the other things that I know that I'm supposed to do. Every day. And I keep meeting people. And the more that the minute that I started to reason like this, I started meeting people who also aligned with my way of reasoning, like Odunsi. And MI2 would say to me, Niyola, you have such an interesting and beautiful story and a strong story. You need to tell it through your music. You need to tell your music. You have so much strength. You have so much love. You have so much pain that you need to share.
Bag of emotions.
You have a bag of emotions that you need to share through your music. And he would say, do you listen to K. Michelle? He would put
That's one of my favorite singers, man.
He would put me on K. Michelle and say, you need to just let people connect with you, like through your emotions.
Puts her heart in the music.
Yeah. And I had to go back and start over. I remember when I met Odunsi, and Odunsi listened to my music, he said, "You're a very interesting person." He was like, "What's your holding yourself?" He was like,
everybody keeps telling you.
Everybody kept telling me that.
Somebody who have a career in media later.
Yeah, she's good at talking.
Like a podcast.
Yeah, she's good at talking. Yeah, she's still going. Yeah,
and everything.
She'll be a great interviewer.
Very.
Yeah, you'd be a great interviewer.
Yeah.
A great interviewer.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
That's interesting. Well, yeah. So that was how that went, and I decided that I was gonna release an EP. So I started recording last year while my mom was in the hospital, and I would go back and forth. I worked with CK.
Shout out to CK.
CK is an amazing producer. Like a whole lot of people don't know that.
He's a better producer
What?
than artist. That's what I was trying to explain.
It's where
When I know
During the infamous episode.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know about that. I don't know nothing about all that.
He's a better producer than artist. Not that he's not a good artist, because I like a song he did with Bella Lubo. Chineke Me. I love it. But his production, that boy is a good producer.
He's a good producer. He understands music.
That EME,
Chocolate
City album. Him, Donnell 37, and Reinhard. They finished work.
Yeah, so I was working with CK, and I'm like, oh, I love the space that I am right now. I was working at MI Studio, and eventually, in August, my mom passed, and I just
shut down.
I shut down, and as much as I shut down, I felt like suddenly I felt like I had a new lease of life. I felt like, oh my God, like, I felt like I just got here. I felt like I was just starting like life. I just saw things differently. I just didn't care anymore. Like, I couldn't be bothered about making my hair anymore, like going to the salon or buying weaves or whatever. I was just like, I can't be bothered. Makeup, if I feel like, and I had to be going somewhere, like I had to be going somewhere really, really important. Even at that, like I had to feel like it. I just couldn't care. I don't know, maybe that was how I grieved or how I mourned, but I just became this totally different person, and I'd never felt more alive. And it took my mom's death for me to start to live. Like, and I was watching, and this is so crazy. I was watching Vampire Diaries at the time again.
Yeah. I was like, I told you.
I was watching Vampire Diaries, and it just, for me, it was just like, oh my God, like, what have I been doing? Like, what have I been doing? Why am I here? And so I started doing a lot more music along the lines. That's not to say that when you want to hear my music, now you be here. No, like, it's still music, but for me, just for me, I know what it represents for me and what it means for me and where it's coming from. It's from a real place. And I feel like people will remember more something that they connect to than something that they just hear. You can forget what you hear.
Facts.
But you will never forget what makes you feel something.
Yeah.
And I always go back to Tobad when I would argue with people about when
Great
they say,
record.
just do a club song for. I'm like, that's great. I probably would if I felt the need to, but I'm not gonna go do a club record because I have to do a club record. I'm sorry, like it just doesn't work for me like that.
It's a great record.
When we did Tobad, shout out to Oscar, by the way. Banky didn't like it. He said the word Tobad has been used too much. One Nicole has used it. The band has used it. And Oscar and I were like, but it's being used in a different way. It's like, I don't know, that. And then the whole song was like, it's a good song. It's not a great song. And I said to him, you don't know it's a great song until it's been proven to be great. And we went back and forth for 6 months.
Creative differences. 6 months.
6 months before he agreed. I remember I was in India and he just messaged me. I think I like Throwback now. You can release it. I knew.
Shout out to B.
I knew that God had helped me touch him. Yeah. And then we released
Get
it.
the talisman.
No. I went to India for a surgery,
Okay.
which is also part of the things that I've been having to deal with.
Yeah.
I have a situation, I what am I stammering? I have a health condition that that I've been dealing with and treating, and also that has been part of the things hindering me from doing things the way that everybody has expected me to do it. But I can't go out and say, oh, I'm sick or whatever. I don't need to.
Yeah.
But so a lot of times when I would travel, I would go travel and get myself checked or be doing one surgery or the other.
So you were there when he said, okay, he gave you a green light on Throwback.
And then when we released the song, even when we were doing the promo and whatever, it was like, yeah, whatever. But when Kemi did that video, and that end parts where the girl where I had to go back to the guy, that was the whole video. Because that's the part that everybody can relate to.
Because how many girls came back to you, Steve?
You always go back. Everybody has that one person that has that Momo switch.
Yeah.
I did. I don't know about you.
I talked about it, my first girlfriend, second.
I did. So people will always remember
the song. No, I love the song. It touched me.
How you had that girl you always went back to?
Yeah, they touched me emotionally. That's why I love the song because when Niyola was writing, I'm like, nah, fam, this is
you.
Yeah.
because you connected to it.
And the weird is like a chick is writing this, but you can still feel it. It passes through gender lines. And like, this is a great record.
Yeah, so
it still goes back to that connecting
emotionally because people will remember.
I only do that with your truth.
Your truth. So that's where that's the space that I am mentally now, and so I was planning to release the EP earlier this year, but I didn't because of because I wanted to get the image. Like if you notice, like my pictures on Instagram lately have been they've been different. It still has the sex appeal that Niyola would normally have, but it's more me. Like I'm a mad person. Like I'm really a mad person. People don't know that. I'm not okay. Like I'm just, I'm very playful. I'm very intense. I'm like a child. I'm like a grandma. I'm a lot of things rolled into one.
If you ask a lot of your male fans on Instagram, they'll be like, I don't know, problem.
I feel like he just wanted to say that. He's been dying to say that too. He just found the right avenue to say it.
I think, they say honesty is the best policy. Being real, being you, being who you are.
So you see what makes it funny? You write something.
Leave my number and stop talking to me without.
No problem.
I am done with the internet.
That's crazy. So just being you and being comfortable in your skin. That's the best thing that can ever happen. Because you try to be another person. Man, how long are you going to do it for? You get tired.
Mentally
it's not even about trying to be another person when you don't even know who you are. You are nobody. That's worse than being another person.
That's why we gotta allow people to just live their life, man.
True.
So this process of self-discovery.
I respect honesty in an artist. Like this is you, what you want to do. Shout out to you.
And that's what. Shout out to Goldie, R.I.P. That's what she was doing at that time.
Goldie was just being her.
Truthfully
being her.
She was just being her.
And naturally, people will kick against what they don't understand. The greatest people in the world were kicked against.
True.
All of them in the beginning seemed like crazy people until. Imagine the guy that invented electricity. How many times? But now we can't live without.
1,000 times let us try his last one.
So
Have you watched Acrimony?
Well, I watched it halfway.
Okay.
And I was like, I'm not ready for this type of,
it was too intense.
I was like, nah, I'm not ready for this.
It was too intense.
Oh, God.
Love is very serious matter.
Yeah.
But I read people's comments on Twitter and I was like, what are people saying?
I like Obama's breakdown.
Boogie has done something.
Yeah, he broke it down. He broke it down. He dissed
What'd he
the
say?
guy. He dissed the guy seriously. Like the guy is manipulating and controlling.
Yes.
I said it on LTX show the other time. I don't think we should look for blames. I just think we should
Understand.
complex.
Life is like, I always say that life isn't black and white, that there's a lot of
It's
gray
gray,
areas
man.
in life.
It's gray.
I remember when I was younger and I used to judge women, like I used to judge relationships based on certain things. And then something happened to a friend of mine who, she had been dating this guy for like 2 years or so, and the guy was literally waiting for her to graduate. And he did everything for her. Like every holiday, he would fly her to the States. He lived in the States, and he was, what you would call an eligible bachelor. He was good to go. We all loved him, his family, her family, whatever. And then she met this guy just in her final year. Okay, well, by the way, he was almost like 10 years older than her.
Now that's the problem with this.
No, that's not the problem. So
No problem. Olu Jacobs is 20 years old and Jacques.
it's not even that,
Like
like,
the Jacob story, I must hear it because that must have been a wild courtship. Well,
the guy she met was like a year or two older than her, and she was falling for him. No sex, nothing. It was just, they just
connected.
She loved her boyfriend, no doubt,
Yeah.
but there was just something about this guy. Like they loved the same kind of music. He understood her sense of humor.
Yeah.
It was, and everybody was against her, even her mom. And I said to her, I was like, listen, I'm a sucker for love.
Yeah.
And I said to her, if you have a chance at feeling something that deep, you better go for it. You better go for it. Like, if you feel like this about another person, why are you with the other person? And so she told the guy about it, and he broke up with her. 5 years after, they got married, and they're happy now.
Wow.
But if we had used our Nigerian brains to judge, we would have been like, that girl is wicked, because life is not black and white, man.
Facts.
Life is not black and white. And as I grow older, I keep seeing that I don't judge people.
At all.
Like, there's certain things that you just will not
I'll be
understand.
saying on this podcast now, when it comes to relationship,
When it comes to love, feelings,
like,
emotions,
it's none of your business.
don't
Like,
worry.
you don't know what's happening. It's not your feeling.
Don't worry. So like, life is not the acrimony situation. Definitely, the guy was not a bad person. Like I said, the day I was watching it, he loved her.
Yeah.
He did love her. He was just a selfish person.
Yeah.
And if you don't understand that loving,
Listen, and that connects, and that goes back to mad people too. People who are mad are selfish because they're thinking about the greater good, like the vision they have. And this guy has something he was working on. He didn't want anything to distract him, so he was just selfish.
no, not in that
Yeah,
light.
that's what I'm trying
As
to
a
say.
human being,
Yeah.
it's like I would say, when people talk about Abacha or whatever, I'm sure he had a family that he loved and his children loved him.
his daughter,
Yeah.
his
His
daughter
daughters.
posted on him on Instagram.
Yeah.
Love-
Yeah. But to the rest of the world, he was a beast.
True.
The fact that he was the person that we perceived him to be didn't mean that when he loved, he couldn't the love would now change him into something else. So this man is the way he is. He's a selfish person. Then he falls in love. He's not going to automatically switch from being selfish because he has now fallen in love with her. He's still the same person that he is.
Selfish, crazy, whatever people can love
He is.
as well.
So it didn't change the fact that he loved her. He did love her. He just didn't love her in the way that he should have. But he did love her in his own way.
Yeah.
And she herself, like a lot of people mistake, you can still love somebody and be assertive.
True.
She was enabling him.
She wasn't assertive.
She was enabling
enabled
him.
him.
And that's not love. I'm sorry. Like I always say to my friends that if I'm doing something that is wrong and you know and you don't tell me, and I find out that you knew and you could have saved me or helped me,
You're not my friend.
You're not my friend. I'm cutting you off. Like that's the end.
True.
A lot of people can't deal with that. But what use are you to me if you cannot help me be a better person? So I think that both of them had the blame.
And
That was obsession.
you know, one thing again that we keep making a factor here is that the invention worked. Man, fuck your invention. You
Yeah.
know why? Because at the end of the day, if you really love me, it wasn't about the investment. Do you know how many things you could have gone to do? But because you're with your wife, you have to compromise.
Yeah.
And look at, okay, I'm going to do these other things. Do you understand what
The
I'm saying?
invention worked after how many years?
The guy is really stubborn,
invention
because
worked
me,
after
I would-
20-something
there's no way I
years.
would have,
Why am I pushing an invention that will work after
2 years, I'm
20-something years?
But, and then you
No,
can
like-
invent what you want to invent, but please, did they say you should not do another thing?
It didn't work.
It didn't work.
Eventually
Yeah,
seeing
they had to shame him to get that
Actually
job in
seeing a
family.
woman unhappy like that, that guy is weak. Like that guy is really.
Do you understand? He
He
didn't
was
work.
selfish.
You know, all this time he didn't
That's what I'm
work.
saying.
And she had 2
He's
jobs.
really, really stubborn.
No,
He
you
was
can't do that.
selfish.
Really, really
No,
stubborn.
No, he was selfish.
Yeah.
You can't do that. You could have done your side, whatever, spending on.
Seeing the woman do 2 jobs
her
alone.
inheritance money.
Imagine if I just stop
Yeah.
working and say, okay, my wife should work.
Because
And
you
say,
have
I
one
have this
invention.
dream because I have to do 13 episodes of hip hop in Nigeria on Netflix.
So
But you'll be shocked that there are different versions of this level of selfishness in men.
Yeah.
His own came out like that because his work and invention. But there are
Works.
different versions of that selfishness, of that level of selfishness in men.
Truth.
In men today, in still today's world, that they're not physically
different.
collecting your money, but they are draining you of everything that makes you you. I'm telling you,
And there are women too. Let's balance it out.
there are women
That
too.
woman.
Yeah.
So that is fine. Let's leave it.
What do you think about what do,
you're too PC when it
what
comes
do you,
to gender.
what do you think about, like, the uprising in feminism in Nigeria?
The fourth wave.
It's actually is it the fourth?
I've
Yeah.
done that in the fourth wave.
The fourth wave.
The fourth wave.
Well, I would say that first of all, I'm just very left in my thinking. I think that first of all, that since the advent of what did you call it again? Feminism. People have the wrong notion about this whole feminism thing. I'm sorry. I would never be equal with a man, and a man would never be equal with me. Because
How so?
we are wired differently. Let's go back to creation. God created the man, right? Mm-hmm. I was like, oh, he's lonely. Let me create a woman for him. So what do you expect? God put something in the woman that is a bit of, I don't even know, for lack of a better word, like a maintenance or upgrade type thing. It's just like you have an iPhone 6 and then you have an iPhone 6S. It doesn't mean that the iPhone 6S is better than the iPhone 6. It just means that there are things that have been put in the iPhone 6S
That do not.
that have been considered in iPhone 6 not to have functioned right. And have been put there as an upgrade. So women, brings it back to the beginning of the conversation that we had, don't know who they are. And while you're constantly trying to be like the man, you're missing the point. You're missing the person that you are. So you cannot even be who or what you're supposed to be because you're looking in the wrong direction. How about you focus on who you are and understand how this man's thinking is, because we're night and day. And if we understand how, like, I was reading something on Twitter the other day. Somebody was like, oh, you should marry somebody who you're thinking, everything, your ideologies are the same. No. It's about understand. It's about it's about
crazy. I saw that
understanding the differences in who you are.
In their minds. People just
You
think
see,
crazy
That
things.
wish list that.
Do you understand? You know these crazy things that you
Oh,
have
thinking
never
like
told
you.
anybody. You're just putting it on social.
Because nobody
media
sees you.
And the dangerous thing
Another person is
is that
taking
the dangerous thing is that some people will not
just
agree with
taking
you.
it.
Yes.
And you
I'm
will not
taking it
believe, you will not
and using it
That you're
as the
saying
source
the right
code
thing.
to their own blueprints.
Yeah, that's it.
Just imagine how boring that house would be. Someone that thinks exactly like you. So anything.
No,
say,
you people will
yes,
be touching the remote together. You know, it's crazy.
I think
It's
that
crazy.
I think
Niyola
that is
a
great.
Third wave feminist.
Feminist,
Yeah,
yeah.
third wave.
I don't even know nothing about all
Because
that.
you've been very empowering with your music.
I'm
And,
very old fashioned.
Yeah, yeah.
Like I'm
Yeah.
very old fashioned and I don't believe in this. What is feminism? Like, I'm sorry, like there are some things that
Niyola, you better be easy.
no, I don't listen.
You better be easy.
Listen, I say something. If there's anything that I know about myself is that the only thing in this life that I'm afraid of is God. Like I say what I mean and I mean what I say. So I don't care what you think. What I think is what I think. My truth is my truth. It's okay. We can have conflicting opinions. That's right.
Yeah.
You are who you are and I am who I am. Now, if you can make me see reason with you, that's great. And I'm not also like what of those people who's unreasonable, who doesn't.
Constricted
I would,
to your
yeah,
values.
I would like to listen to you, but if it doesn't make sense, then it doesn't make sense to me, because my reasoning is as a result of things that I've experienced, of things that I've, taken in
That's quite true.
and imbibed.
Yeah, yeah.
You know what I mean?
We're all
The
here.
summation of our experiences.
Exactly.
That's it. The way you see it is the way
It's the-
you live
We are
it.
If
all
I
fire.
stand from here, if somebody stands from here now and if I hold this thing now, somebody says, what is the shape of this thing? You are looking at it from one angle. You could say, oh, it's thin.
Yeah.
And then the person looking at it, I'm like, no, it's not thin.
It's wide.
It's wide. So it doesn't mean you're wrong.
Yeah.
It's just perspectives.
Yeah.
And I think that that's what people need to understand. Like Nigerians especially don't understand that it's okay for the next person to have their own opinions. Like everybody just wants,
No, everybody
you must take my own.
Like if
I'm
you
not-
don't, they'll give you.
You must take my own. If you don't take my own, it means you think I'm stupid. No.
Go ahead.
I
I
have a new neighbor, right? And we talk, and it's like, okay, so which church do you attend? Church. So I go to Elevation and say, oh, okay, good. That's nice. Good choice. It's good.
So
in my mind, I'm like, so are you approving
I'm
of?
very anti-church right now.
Girls are like, why you are so you are approving
you're
of
approving like, oh, this guy's legit.
approving me
Oh,
with your state
shit.
of mind.
Yeah, yeah.
Spiritually, you can connect.
I'm very anti-church right now.
Why is that? Because we're asking you before, even before the
Yeah.
podcast started.
I feel like we're in such delicate times
Hmm.
that everybody, out of every 10 people that I talk to, 7 are depressed.
Facts.
Depressed
Went
without,
through-
like, they don't even know why or what.
That's why depression. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, it's crazy. And everywhere you turn in Nigeria, there's some church
There's a
or
church.
the other. Everywhere you go on Instagram, somebody's talking about Jesus or God, like, mate.
Yeah.
So what are you doing? What is the problem? That's my thing. So I have gone to churches and I don't feel like the church today has a model that fits our
The church is still serving
generation.
the purpose of 19.
That's what the
1970.
church doesn't have a model that suits our generation.
And the challenges and the realities.
Yeah.
Now, you're not telling me how to deal with my day-to-day life as an artist and a Christian who has to deal with sexuality problems or challenges
Yeah.
or social media pressure.
Sure.
You're telling me that if I've not broken through, let me use the terms, at 25, it's because I'm not serving God right. You're
Yeah.
telling me that if something
That's
wrong
more pressure.
happens
That's
to
more
me,
pressure.
it's because I'm not serving God
God
right.
right. Yeah.
You're
It's
telling
sin.
me that it's because of my sin. No, but that's not what the Bible says, though. That's not what the Bible says. Like, are you really teaching me? I really would like a church that teaches you to walk, teaches me about my day-to-day walk, about my faith, about understanding God and what He needs me to do, like what He wants me to do, how He thinks, how He processes, and why He did that. You know, that's what I need in a church.
Yeah.
Not just the sedentary worship of going to church and warming the
when-
seats and
yeah, when
this.
Sundays
And
rest.
sometimes, like a friend of mine would say, that he realized that at some point he was tired of church, and then when he would go, he'd be like, oh, I'm connecting with the music. No, it's not really the music. You're not feeling the spirit. It's the beautiful melody that is getting to you. Just
That's
like
all.
if you listen to
Whiskey and Duncan
Whiskey and Duncan Mighty,
Better
you would
song.
feel, oh, this is so sweet. That's the same way that music is doing
Yeah.
that to you. I'm sorry, but what are you really doing to me when I leave church? When I leave church, what you tell me, is it carrying me through the week? How are you telling me? Are you judging me? Am I feeling like you're edifying my spirit? And I don't feel like that. And I've been to lots of places. They're either talking about prosperity or something. I'm sorry, no. Like, do you realize that money actually doesn't make people happy? People think that money is what makes people happy, but money is not what. People are sad. People are depressed. And it's more so in young people. It's crazy. And I feel like the institution of the church, they need to do better and create a module that fits our generation.
Very well.
If you wear church, if you go to church and you're like, why are you wearing it? They'll be judging. I'm sorry.
To Jezebel.
Are you supposed to call? There's nobody
Get
that
deep
judges
behind
you
the
better
daughter
than
of
the
God.
church. Do you know? There's no organization or institution that is more judgmental than the church.
No, the
Yeah.
church. Hey,
Hey.
hey.
So what are we now
church
So
saying?
did you see her? This is what she wore today.
Not even a lot of things.
lot of
The church.
things.
Woo.
So that's my thing.
Yeah.
That's my thing.
Yeah, I feel you. Now let me ask a
I'm on that
typical Nigerian journalist question. Where do you see yourself in the next 5 years?
That's an easy one. Ask another one.
They already used to that one.
Ask another one.
All right, no, that's the only
Ask
one I know
another
that we
one.
will ask. But yes,
I mean, I definitely
What's next?
for the first time. Okay, so I'm releasing.
no, I have to ask you the question because it now feels like I asked you that question and you answered that question. It now feels like I actually asked you.
No, I have to answer. Let me answer.
Oh, God.
Okay, so I'm dropping a single soon. I'm dropping a single and eventually
Who's
the
producing?
EP. It was produced by DJ Kublon.
Nice.
Yeah, and then I'm dropping an EP. It's a visual EP.
Nice.
I mean, it's called, I said it's self-titled. It's titled Self-ish because it basically runs through the process of my rediscovery as me. So it's talking about me as concerns love, as concerns life. I did a song where I talk about my mom's death, which is, it talks about my mom's death, but it really talks about, it borders on a little bit about my family and then how I feel about my journey through life as concerns music. So it just basically talks about me and myself. And I'm also working on a mixtape.
Nice.
Bars.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
Bars.
Yeah. Because I realized that, okay, so I'd been
Nigga, shut up.
I've been doing a lot of writing. Like I would just write. Like I always write. If you check my phone, I just write.
Yeah.
I'm always writing. So I went to my friend's house, and I was just like, I just feel so heavy in my chest. It was like, what? I said, I feel like I want to say something, but I don't even know what I want to say. And we were laughing. I said, I know what I'll do. And he turned on his mic.
Yeah.
He has a home studio, and I just started talking. Like I'm telling you, bullshit. I was just talking.
Bars.
I was just saying bullshit.
Lick the mic.
And he put some music behind that shit
Yeah.
and sent it to me.
Wow.
I'm like, rah.
That's some wokeness.
I was like, oh damn. I was like, oh damn. So I said, you know what? Maybe I'm gonna do a mixtape. And I know Paul had always been on my case that I think you would make a good rap. I'm like, I don't know how to rap.
Shout out to Ladipo.
Like, I think you make, so I hit him up and I said, you know what? I think I want to do a mixtape. Plus, I have a lot of music that I don't know what I'm going to do with. So
Go on.
let me do that whole Mariah Carey style where
Yeah.
you just have some rap and you have her singing.
Yeah.
So
Throw it
yeah,
out.
and after that, I'm gonna release an album
Okay.
because this is the
Good
way
rollouts,
that
good
I can
rollouts.
let all this music
Yeah. It's a
go.
good rollout.
There's
It's a
so
good
much.
rollout. It's a good rollout. It's a good
That's the
rollout.
plan for now.
It's a good rollout.
So
It's a
help
good
me
rollout.
God.
Wish you all the best.
Thank you.
You know, we're big fans of you here. So we
thank
send you
you.
all the love.
Thank you.
We already know the music is dope, so we can't, we're
Cash
not-
out.
Yeah. So yeah, we just wish you all the love. Want to say thank you for sharing your story.
Johnny.
Finally, I can now take this off my my bucket list. We finally did a Niyola interview.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I want to ask this question. Yes, all time, top 5 Nigerian rappers, all time. Top 5, top 5, top 5. Freestyle.
Freestyle. MI,
MI,
Mood 9,
Mod 9,
Rugged Man,
Rugged Man,
and Blaze.
Blaze.
Ah.
That's a solid list. That's a solid list. That's a solid list. That's a solid list.
There's a lot more, but yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
off the top of my head.
Yeah. That ain't no problem. Thank you so much for coming.
Thank
on.
you.
Thank you for having me. I feel like
Thank you
I
so
feel like
much.
I've been gisting the entire time.
Yeah, that's what it is. That's what it is. So,
That's
I mean, that your friend that was panicking.
I know.
We're nice people.
Yeah.
They are not nice people.
We're nice.
We're nice. It's just sometimes,
Two of us are nice.
We're nice.
the wires cross.
This one is not nice.
At all. Like everyone
Iron is
knows
nice.
that.
I'm the
It's a
nicest
very
guy.
nice combination, you know. Iron is the
Look at God.
you
But
know.
you are not listening.
He's
not
the warrior
nice.
from Ugeli North.
I said he's not nice. I did not say he's not. There's a difference, which means that the rest are worse.
Let God know. I'm going to take home to Mama.
And guys, it's the Loose Thought Podcast.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.